Welcome back in. It's opening day here, the first major of the 2024 season, and already our #1 seed has powered into the second round of the winners bracket. But now we're gearing up for match number 2, and it features the world champion Subliners taking on Minnesota Rocker, who retooled their roster in between seasons. They started off rough, but they have won 3 straight coming into today. Let's start with the Rocker team. Chris Bucket alongside Chance, Alley Cat, and Nameless. And I want to start with you, Chance. Walk me through this roster. What do you love about watching this team?
I love that we can actually see the progress that these guys are making, right? The jokes are always about sort of the school of ability that they had was not ideal, but they really started to hit their groove, and they're playing much better Call of Duty. Awakening accuracy at the start of the year had some of the worst stats in the league. There has been stark improvements on that roster from those 2 players. Vivid's out here breaking kill records in S&D, and Lynn's right now potentially the star candidate for Rookie of the Year.
It looks like the leash has been taken off of Lynn's. At least the man has not been able to be put in a cage. What has he done differently in the last 3 series in your mind, Allie?
It's maybe not so much being different. Maybe he's feeling a bit more comfortable, but it's just the consistency for Linz right now. That's a lot of pressure as well, right? Being the rookie on a team that is struggling, it's a hard situation to be put into, and to be as consistent as he is, I'm really excited to see what he does for his first time on main stage.
For your Monster Energy pregame, here are the keys to victory. If you are Minnesota Rocker, pulling off the upset is never easy, especially against world champs, Nameless.
Yeah, I mean, for Minnesota Rocker, I actually don't hate this series for them whatsoever in the way that they match up in the hardpoint maps, and we'll get to the control in a bit. But for the Monster Energy pregame, they're 6-1 in hardpoint map 1, so definitely have an advantage there. But they're 0-5 in map 4s. Oh. Maybe that's just how the veto process goes, but that's definitely weird heading into a series. And then Swiss cheese S&D defense. They allow plants 52.5% of the time. That just cannot happen. 19% retake. So clearly, when that bomb goes down, the communication is not there to be able to retake. It is chalked, right? So for Minnesota, I expect that to be better today. But like I said, man, the last 3 series, 9-2 map count. You can't scoff at it. They have improved dramatically, and a lot due to the man on your screen, particularly in the search and destroy.
They have shown a lot of strength in search recently and some ice in their veins in the game 5. On the other side, Subliners. They were flawless in the World Championship to end MW2. They come into MW3 with a game 5. After that, win over Optic. Things were up and down. Teams like LAG took them to a game 5, but they never looked like they were the underdogs. Everyone always considering this to be the stronger team in the fight.
I mean, you know, they had somewhat of a late start to the year as well. So I know early on they were very much a team that was aware there is progress to be made. And even still, there's some soft spots like Hydra and S&D has not currently hit form. His first right now have been atrocious, but even with a couple pain points on the roster, overall they've still been spectacular. Again, Hydra has been poor in the First Bloods, and they still might be the best search and destroy team in the game because Kismet might be the First Blood Reaper at the moment, and their hard point is like still strong. So a little bit of wiggle room they need in the respawns, but it's a team world champions. You expect them to deliver.
Yeah, this is a little bit of an echo of how we were touching on Atlanta phase earlier. Is there's not that many weak points when it comes to New York Subliners. If you want to talk about one, it does have to be the control, but they really don't need it when they have the CDL best of 9-1 in search and destroy, and even their hard point looks strong. So it's a house of cards, 9-1 in SD, 9-10 in respawns. Again, that's mostly because they've been struggling in control, but the thing for New York right now is they have a very strong game 5. They're 3-0, and Minnesota Rocker doesn't 3-0 teams even when they win that map #1. So should this series go the distance, it just keeps getting worse for the Minnesota Rocker and keeps getting better for the New York Subliners.
Nameless, I'm a little bit bummed that Studdy isn't here to argue with you because Studdy loves his New York team as a New York City boy. As a New Yorker as well, I think Subliners have the edge here, but you were telling us you think Minnesota has a chance.
Yeah, I think they have a great chance in this series. I mean, look, like when you look at the last, series spread, they got 3-0 on the high-rise control. That ain't in this series, and it also makes it look like New York's a great control team. They are not. They have not been good at that game mode. And we have Karachi versus Minnesota, who are one of the better teams on that map. You also talk about this team in search and destroy, like, yes, New York has been fantastic in that game mode, but Minnesota has made great strides of improvement there. And when you talk about the hard point, New York are 7-5 in that game mode. They've had trouble with breaking and then also almost last in the league in points off of the break. And we're going into 2 maps. Chris, that Minnesota have been fantastic at. So I think that this is a big opportunity for Minnesota.
The maps are in. Ali, do you agree? Is this a 2-0 start potentially for Minnesota?
I don't know so much about a 2-0 start, but I will say both of these teams have very deep map pools. Obviously have to give the edge to the New York Subliners, giving it their second team overall. I think my biggest pain point is that Karachi control is going to be the swing mode for me. When it comes to New York Subliners, they've been struggling on their non-traded kills when it comes to control. They've been very much going out and dying and then ending out on lives and just getting outslayed.
Chance, if you're looking at two individuals for each team, what's the 1v1 we need to look at?
Civ versus Awakening, I do not have to think about it because, like, Awakening this year has just been like Awakening. That's it. He hasn't been Big Wake just yet, has not evolved to Giga Wake along those lines. So he's the player that has to step it up. I think, like, amongst the community, he might be the player that everyone is dialed in on to pay attention to his performance because this year there's a few key differences in the GA category that have made some changes. Awakening might be a player that has suffered, and of course, Civ on the flip side, he has been a shooter this year.
Do you mean he needs sound to know where the enemies are coming from?
I would say that might be something that has been helpful.
Listen, man,
but now we're back on
I talked to
land.
Awakening yesterday. He said, man, they're just in my head a little bit. I'm about to fry this weekend. So I think Awake comes out. I mean, they've been playing well without him even going off, right? So it's a team aspect thing as well. But if he starts to play like the Wake that we know, this is a completely different animal.
Time to shut up Reddit, Awakening. We'll find out, can he hang with the ARs of the Subliners? Predictions, did you get your pick 'em in online? Well, we got them in right here. I'm going first, and you know I'm taking New York.
I'm doing the exact world champions. You got to pick New York.
This might be a full yellow desk here. I'm going with the New York Subliners.
Yeah, I'm going with New York. But I think it's going to go a distance.
No, it's
You're
not.
going to game 5.
I think it goes a distance, yeah.
Game 4, Max.
Game 4, Max. I'm going 3-0. Chat, let us know how you have this one playing out as chat makes their picks. It's time to get this party started. In fact, the players need about one more minute. So, Nameless, let's talk about the weaknesses of the Subliners. You're 6-1. You've gone to multiple game 5s. You've gone deep in games. If you watch their most recent YouTube video, the Subliners relied on Kismet to bring them back into a matchup. Where do they find themselves down?
Yeah, I mean, it's the control. You know, we touched on it a little bit, but they're neither good at attacking or defending in control. High Rise has been a map that they've been particularly decent at, but it's just going to get ripped out of every series in the veto process. Also, in Hardpoint, like, they're 7-5 in that game mode, but they have 2 maps that they just have not been able to win, so they have an automatic veto. You can't play Terminal, and when you look at it as well, it's like Sub-Base is a map they're 0-1 on. Who knows if they're willing to let that get through in a series as well. So for New York, they have not looked as strong as Toronto. When you talk about them coming into this event, they have not looked as strong as Atlanta FaZe. So they are a contender, but they have some things that they need to work on.
And I'd say, well, control is like a pain point for them as well. They're one of 2 teams in the league right now that have more control offensive wins by kills versus the actual objective. And the last time we saw them play on High Rise, they were so focused on kills that they got all of them and lost the map. Civ dropped 44 for the L. So I think the objective focus, if it hasn't kicked into gear for these guys again, might be a small little thing that cost them in the end.
I think you are right on the same wavelength as our stats guy, because he said you got to talk about Civ. Look at the numbers. Let's take a look at his numbers after game number 1, because I'm told the players are ready. Let's send it to the stage with Guy Blaze.
Thank you so much, Puckett. I'm ready to continue to blaze on through this open bracket, through this upper bracket, as we got our next team ready to come to the stage. Looking to start off hot, but they need to stay cool and calm in this series. Get ready, everybody, because here comes Minnesota.
Push on up. You have 3 players off at spawn. Maybe a chance here. Accuracy.
Linz is ripping Boston apart. Boston to close this lead. And Linz is going to just continue to push space for the Zawolabob's team.
Maybe come straight through as well.
Awakening versus the world, and he's coming up with the dub. But if you can transition this to New Hill, Awakening is trying to put in absolute work. Slashes up next. He gets them all. The whole team is Demon Show.
Boston, get loud for the Minnesota Rocker. Make some noise for Linz, the Iceman Accuracy, Big Wake, and lastly in full color is Vivid,
Minnesota had to battle to make it into the winners bracket, and one guy that turned up for them the last couple of weeks has been Linz from across the pond in France. He has watched Hydra lay out the blueprint, but now he has to take over and dominate. We'll see if Minnesota Rocket can get it done. They're on a hot streak, but let's bring out their opposition, Blaze.
All right, it's time for it, Nameless. We'll see if they can continue that hot streak. But I'm happy to announce for the first time on land, get ready, because here comes your 2023 World Champions.
Video like that. The world champs are now touching the stage for the first time of the 2024 season. And it's time to see if they haven't skipped a beat since the last time they touched this stage. Blaze, I'm ready to get this match started.
I'm ready to get it started. It is all vibes on the main stage. You're still having a good time, Boston? Let's get this one kicked off. It's going to be shift and study. Let's go.
Blaze, thanks so much. Yeah, it's Shift with my pro player duo study here, my man. How you doing, man?
I'm feeling good, man. You know, it's our first cast on land this year. I'm excited to get into it because we got a banger on our hands.
Gonna be a good one. Obviously, Dash set it up perfectly. Minnesota riding on a hot streak right now. Since the break, 3 straight series wins. We've actually been a part of all the calls, and they've looked particularly great across almost every single game mode, but I think all of our focus stays with map number 1 here in this series.
Yeah, because what? They're 6-1 in opening hard points, 0-5 in game 4. So if you're our Minnesota, you got to stick to the recipe that's been working. You got to come out and you got to beat New York in map number 1. And in this matchup that they had previously, they got it done on the same exact map, 250 to 203 or something like that. So if you are Minnesota, you just got to come out swinging early in this map 1.
Have to have it. On the other side, though, New York, even though they have had a couple of respawn woes, they have been great, in particular on Invasion. First in rotation percentage, first in hold percentage. Could you ask for anything more when it comes to a map like Invasion Hardpoint?
Especially like Invasion, bro. We're talking about the P2 to P3 chain. We know how that crucial that can be if you're continuously spawning towards back Palace. And then if you get P4, which is the Treehouse Hill, going into Palace at P5, you hold that backside, you're basically going to blow this game wide open. So both of these guys are great when it comes to rotations. Just New York are way better in their hold percentage, so that's going to be the game changer.
And I feel like just generally speaking, looking at how the map vetoes played out with the series that we have in front of us, New York just has a wider berth of maps that they can throw in and be successful at. Whereas Minnesota has been, I don't want to say predictable in where their last 3 wins have been, but you definitely look at the map 1 hardpoint, and then can they get it done on control? Because just a kind of marinating point, it's going to be whose attack is better versus whose defense is better, especially on Karaji, because New York's attack has been great, but Minnesota's defense has been even better.
And the biggest thing that for both of these squads is that New York started off the season 5-0. So when you start off 5-0, you basically guarantee yourself a winner's bracket spot. So those last couple of matches, you can start working on some maps that you probably haven't played. For Minnesota, they started 0-4. So they had to make sure they played all their best maps to at least earn a chance at winner's bracket, and did just that to get in this position here.
Well, the progress has been good for Minnesota, but you're going up and squaring off against the champs from last year's title. To be fair, though, New York have had a couple of moments in their last 2 series where maybe the crown isn't sitting as firmly on their heads as you would assume. But Sid is going to be a problem. Put it up on the desk. Sid versus Awakening is one of the highlight matchups that we're looking forward to. We got Minnesota on a hot streak, but the reigning champs taking the stage for the first time. New York versus Minnesota. Let's get it on.
Here we go, into the early P1, right into the cafe. I'm just gonna be the player to make sure no one tries to slip on by. You don't wanna flip these spawns going in towards the next hill. All out mix specs in through the middle of the map. 15 seconds already down, and now it's time for Hydra to strike. Just roaming around DVD, you're gonna see him a lot in that position.
That first couple of gunfights looking good as the Bulldog takes down 2 in New York. Find the first 20 seconds for free, and the kills outside of the hard point looking even better. Kismet now taking a little bit of an extra route just to create some extra space, but Rocker starting to shoot back, looking for their break.
With only 25 seconds left, Rocker, no. But the next hill is going to be at P2. We want to keep this side of the map and trap New York towards the backside of Palace. And Vivid and Linz, they opened up with 2 kills. So this final 20 is potentially going to be theirs. Just have to deal with Hydra. Already a great job. Now you're forcing the subliners off that rotation. Kismet's going to be the Bulldog, already in a position. But you also now have Hydra on a repin. So they're still going to contest this and try to flip these spawns.
Just winning the war on both fronts right now. Hit from Minnesota coming from the front. Just has accuracy and Awakening, waiting for this play over through Tractor. And one player will spawn over towards Palace. So Rocker can reinforce this really quickly. New York not ready for it, and hey, that first time percentage hold and not going to go well here for New York as Minnesota get the early break.
That's great work right there from Minnesota to win those trades at the next hill. You get those close spawns towards the back Palace, so you're able to reinforce immediately. But now you just have to hold strong, because if you go 4 dead here, you start swimming towards back Palace, that chain to the bathroom can make something shake for New York subliners. The trades back and forth, only 30 seconds left. Minnesota still holds.
Beautiful stuff here from Rocker. His Wake's on now 5 in a row. So yeah, maybe Ant got the good intel. Looking like big Wake to start, doubling up nearly on the points, and Minnesota already putting a little bit of a stretch over towards New.
And there's a couple players from the subliners who are spawning over towards back Palace. So if you are Minnesota, let's get a pedal to it. Let's start being a little bit more quicker, because you have the advantage off the rotation. But Hydra still being a nuisance around DVD. He does take down one. Accuracy there for the trade, but now it's only on Skies in this position. Can he stay alive long enough for his teammates to get back to him?
And this is the big thing. Minnesota spawns will be on the north side of the map, so there is a chance for them to try to reinforce this through gas. But New York are set up perfectly for it, except for they don't track accuracy at all, but doesn't expect the second player to be there. So New York will substantiate their hold with numbers. Minnesota quickly looking to form another break attempt.
And they're right through middle of the map as well. Like, Skies, what are we looking at? I know we're watching back deep gas, but they're just running for free at your teammate in hill. And that eventually leads to the break. Big one-on-one gunfight from Linz. The trade does come in, but finally Skies is going to maneuver his way closer towards the bathroom hill, because with only 30 seconds left, we have to start thinking about that rotation, and New York are a step ahead now.
That Minnesota map 1 magic, brother. They're looking real clean with it thus far through 3 hills. 20 seconds looking like it's going to be conceded as Kismet's taken down. So the subliners on rotation, but met by Awakening. So again, Minnesota kind of doing the exact same thing that the subliners are trying to do tempo-wise to start this map.
And it's already good time. You're going to find yourself up by almost 50 points going into the next hill. And if you can win these trades, even better. But Awakening with the team nade, it's not going to allow his teammate in Linz to get into that hard point early. So the subliners are in the preferred side when you talk about this hill. Because when you get P4, you just want to contest this down to the very end. It's a very difficult hill to break. But you also want to focus on maintaining that Palace side. When you're finding all the kills, that can potentially work out. You just don't want to flip them to the opposite side.
Only player that may sneak through here is Wake. A couple shots come through. Now the hunt is on. Awakening for the first hit. Awakening's going to take down 2. That takes Kismet out of the hard point. And the follow-up eliminations, they're perfect for Rocker. How about Minnesota? Another break attempt comes through against the team's best holding percentage on this map.
And this is where the score can just get blown out of the water. Minnesota are gaining this remaining time. They have 2 players already set up in towards Palace. Subliners know we have to commit for this 20 seconds, because it's super, super difficult to break in towards this Palace HP. You just you can't scam. No one chow from the hill. Everyone just watch crosses, and Minnesota should find themselves up by 100 points at the end of this one.
Not a lot of ground to work with here for the subliners, trying to cut across towards that Palace Street. Minnesota setting the thin defensive line right across the wall. How does it develop for subliners? Looking to maybe 2-2 split this. 2 from the top, 2 from the bottom, but no one's able to see anything. Accuracy is just playing whack-a-mole over the top of the Palace wall. Awakening does get taken down with a pistol. Follow-up from accuracy, good. And Rocker's still holding for now.
Rocker's still holding. Just have to win these next sets of fights, and at least they're trading efficiently. The last 2 players are going to be in towards the point. Awakening, when he drops, he gets a clean pinch spawn. He finds that final kill, so it's still Minnesota Rocker holding on. New York have not been able to get close. Finally, Skies does, but he falls. Minnesota not making any mistakes right now.
I know we pointed out to the Sib versus Awakening conversation. How about the Skies to Awakening conversation? 12-6 for Wake, only 3-9 for Skies, who's been the KD leader for New York.
Yeah, Skies has just been a takeover player for the subliners roster. Right now having a slow start, but we have the ability to get back into this game. Rocker currently finds himself by almost up 100 points. Accuracy making stuff happen. Now we go to the reset.
And now with Rocker in firm control on rotation, prime time to see how the comms are sounding for the Minnesota Rocker.
What's your task? What do you want? One corner me. One's launching, one's C2.
Yeah, they're all in front of us. They're all in front of us.
You want me to go left?
Yeah, I hear you. I'm flipping right.
I'm going to be fair.
You have my D2?
No, not right now. I'm going to give it 2 seconds. I'm doing
Yeah, here, D2. D2, one shot time. One shot time.
Game is trapped, bro.
DVD and D3. D1. One shot D1. One shot D1. You went bin about. Yo, his game crash, bro.
Yeah, my game crash, bro.
No way, man.
Well, we heard it in the comms talking a game crash, and that's on the Minnesota side after what looked to be, I mean, again, a possible runaway situation.
That's tough, man. That is tough. You find yourself up by 100 points, don't know what happened on the back end, but obviously a game crash. We heard it in the listening from Big Wake. That's a momentum killer right there, Alan.
Big time. I mean, we're talking a 100-point game. And not that the P2 rotation was underway yet, but Minnesota were starting to make some moves toward after a scrappy fight over the whole time. That is huge, especially considering that we continue to talk about this Rocker team and map number 1 have always been so good. And now all of a sudden you kind of think, well, hopefully the air in the lungs hasn't been completely vacuumed.
And they were slamming. They were slamming at that map number 1. I thought New York, they were going to set themselves up for some success. You're talking about the P4 to P5. They put too many bodies over towards the treehouse side. So when they lose those gunfights, now you start turning towards gas. Minnesota, we're just doing everything a step ahead. We're talking about flipping spawns, trading efficiently. Awakening started off fantastic in this game. And now, unfortunately, the game crashed. And now, what we're getting in our ears is a full replay? Ooh. That's tough.
Yeah, I think the thing is, and you point to a very, very good section of this map. It's not just the fact that Minnesota's been good at map 1. It's the fact that New York on this map have been great in rotating, great in holding. And Minnesota have countered that completely, a lot of it by way of the ARs, which when we were looking at these guys online, that's where the vulnerabilities have been. Linz and Vivid have been great. Awakening, accuracy, moments, but they haven't looked this good together in a respawn at what feels like a while.
And when I heard Accuracy talk about his roster after the Christmas break, that's when they all started to really hone into the game plan that they wanted to have as a roster. We talk about the series they have versus Carolina, clean 3-0. The series versus LAG, clean 3-0. And those are like some of the bottom teams that we have. So I wasn't really know what to expect out of Minnesota. But when you beat a team like Seattle, the way they did all the way into Game 5, that showed some serious ice, man. They clutched up in the control. They won the Game 1 hard point, and then they also made massive plays in that Game 5. So right now, Minnesota, they're on the upward trend. And I feel like for the subliners, based off of what we just saw, a sample of that map number 1, New York need to wake up.
A little bit of a slow start without question, which is, again, very peculiar considering how good New York have been on this particular respawn. Now, the thing about this series is it doesn't really get easy at any given moment in time when it comes to how the maps were selected. In particular, a lot of our focus will be to, if this does go stretch to 5, New York is still so good on search and destroy. So the map 2, map 5, that is still a huge focus for what this Minnesota team is going to bring, not just for this match, but for the event overall, in my mind.
Yeah, without question, man. Map number 2, though, like if we were to get into it in that Game 1 was to finish the way that it was, all momentum would have been on Minnesota's side. We watched Reese Vivid last week break the SD kill record, 3,500 damage. It's not like they don't know what's going on in Search and Destroy. And that map 2 is also going to be Karachi, where we watched them beat Seattle all the way into Game 5 due to what the SMGs were able to do. So I just think if you are Minnesota, we got to shake that one off because we got to keep that same momentum that we just had.
Big time. And I think in particular, it's not just getting yourself back in. You have to trust that what you brought to the table to start is going to be there again, not having a second doubt in any regard. Because you look at the hardpoint metrics, the biggest thing, again, we look at the 6 and 6. We have to say it one more time. We'll beat the dead horse here. 6 of those wins have been in map number 1. So 0 and 5 in map 4s have not been particularly great for Minnesota. But we were kind of talking about it a little bit. Like, we told Minnesota this, and they were like, wait, we haven't won a map 4? Like, they didn't even know.
Accuracy didn't even believe it. He was like, wait, is he actually serious? They said that on the broadcast? Like, yeah, bro, I got them stats for you, bro. You can go back and check. But once he figured that out, he said, nah, man, the game plan, I don't know what we doing, but we got to win some Game 4. So hopefully they're able to turn it around at this event.
All right, well, looks like everything is starting to load right back up again. So reset it. Perfectly clean slate. Good news for New York considering the start. But for Minnesota, can they essentially reprise exactly what they did to start through this first set of hills?
And I think if I'm Skies, I'm taking a breath of fresh air.
You have to.
He did not have the best start to that map number 1, but he has the ability to redeem himself here on the replay. Back into the invasion HP we go. New York starting off on the preferred side. Minnesota, can they keep that fire underneath?
Here we go again. This time, accuracy. Lynn starting things off with the first couple of kills. This is already opposite of what we saw last time, where the subliners came out of the break off looking polished, but Awakening has not slowed down at all. You put 5 minutes into this guy's back pocket, he's saying, I'm fine with it, let's give you this thing going.
But the only thing that's a little bit scary now and different is that the subliners are instantly able to flip those spawns over towards Mannequin. So they are on the preferred side to hold down this cafe. Hills, Sip cut down street. Linz gets cut down as well by Skies. And now with only 25 seconds left, you're going to force Minnesota to once again try to hold P2 from Palace side, with New York holding every single second so far at this P1.
Nice shots from Linz over the middle of the map. Wanted Sib over the top of the tank. Will not be allowed an opportunity, as Sib will double up, and that'll be enough for New York to start putting a bit of a threat on rotation while soaking up this scrap. Rocker will still have the preferred setup to start. Most of it starting with Awakening here frontside street.
Yeah, Awakening's in a crucial position right here. Get some info. Players are starting to be aggressive up towards the broken side, but just want to play his life as long as he can. You have the subliners sending 2 players up through the courtyard. You usually don't see flanks coming in on this hill, but Kismet, he's going to put himself into the position to take down Linz. Even though they're still spawning in the back, Minnesota still holding from the front. Big weight came to play today.
Dude, it's like the online phase never had happened. He is channeling everything, and with some confidence, as Sib is the next one in line, lots of damage comes through, but Kismet saves the day. Trade comes out, Rocker still hold on to the hard point, but look at Hydra around the back through Ice Cream. Only player here for New York, he would have to do it himself, and he does. A double from behind, and that'll be enough for New York to at least contest the hard point.
That's not a good play right there from Hydra. We're talking about 30 seconds left on this P2 HP. You go for the flank, and now all of your teammates are spawning alongside you over towards the Palace side, so you basically gift this Minnesota Rocker free rotation over towards Bathroom. But as I say that, subliners, they get a couple kills. Now it's only falls into the hands of Linz. He's just trying to stay alive as long as he can to his teammates to reinforce.
Good finesse at this point. Long range shots to the skies. Perfect. And that'll be enough for Rocker to now own numbers on rotation with help from Vivid through mid-street. So like you had already kind of compiled together, subliners taking a lot of extra time to get through mid-map, and that's enough for Rocker to reclaim the lead.
And now they're just going to take their time. You see Kismet working his way slowly but surely up through the Mannequin side. They know that at least 2 players from Minnesota are spawning out, so they're just trying to win these trades in towards the hill. They start off with at least 2. The last play they got to take care of is Vivid. He's playing his life as much as he can, but he eventually gets cut down. And already, subliners find the break over towards the Bathroom side. And you already have Hydra off the rotation.
Super annoying play from Sib just to stay front courtyard like that forever. So now Rocker going to concede the back 30, make the rotation up through street over towards Treehouse side. Awakening be the first one here. Accuracy right there with him. This is the tempo that we had not seen from Rocker before. And Awakening puts Skies down over through DVD Alley. Trophy will get set up, and Rocker will win rotation.
And now Rocker are fully set up to get themselves back into this game and potentially chain it over towards that Palace Hill again. So subliners currently up by 30 points. This Treehouse Hill is not easy to break.
Oh, fuck, bro.
Good reset, still 12-8. We've talked about it. Skies already performing at a much more realistic level than what we saw for the online phase. Just 9-9 to this point. Going over towards P1 once again. Skies, first one here. Finessing, not quite able to take down Linz. Trades are good, and with that, Rocker will open up the hill.
Yeah, Rocker started off with this initial timing towards the P1. Such a close back and forth game that we have on our hands, but gets mixy around this cafe. Linz starts it off with 2. Linz finds 3. Eventually does get shut down on that cruise missile streak. So not going to be able to earn that, but Minnesota slowly climbing their way back into this game. Only 40 seconds left on P1.
Great angle from Sim, also making sure no one rotates over towards the flank. Linz there to meet him, Awakening right behind. So Rocker once again, favorable in the kill feed, but they do get pushed out of the hard point, just down to Wake. Can he once again do it all himself? On the cross, able to find Skies and says, no need to take this challenge. Let's get some extra time and bring this game back to level terms.
You're going to be able to take the lead as well because already subliners are not on the preferred side. So you want to challenge the cafe as much as you can so you can try to flip these spawns. And the Skies in his position already rotated over towards Broken. You now have to get past that first line of defense. Awakening trying to sniff him out. We're going to have to jump up, but Linz with the assistance. So Minnesota already in the advantage. They can grow the lead right now.
Kismet by himself. Absolutely nobody nearby, although help is on the way. Just not going to get here in time. Construction opens up. Awakening again on another spree. This time at 3. Tallied, but does get taken down. New York all fighting from the backside of this hard point. 50-50 fights over the top of the tank, and accuracy letting them have it. Can't quite get the trophy system down, so everything stays neutral. We're still in an 8-point game.
Yeah, and if you're Minnesota, it's good to just keep them in this trap. You're not really fighting for this time because you know that bathroom hill, you will continuously spawn them over towards the backside of Palace. You're just continuously winning these gunfights, but trades are continuing to go back and forth. So a whole lot of continuing right there, and there's only 25 seconds left on this P2. The pistol comes out, not good enough to get the job done, but pretty sure there's only been like 5 seconds taken from this hill.
Dude, the game clock is winning this hard point right now. Finally, accuracy will jump in for the scrap. New York spawning over towards Palace, are trying to cut over through courtyard side, but Vivid is right in place and absolutely tearing them apart. Accuracy right there alongside, so Rocker control the tempo once again on rotation, which is not something New York is familiar to feeling.
And now New York are forced to break, and one of the most unbreakable hills in this bathroom because you have to cross right in front of these lines of sights. And if you're Minnesota, just simply hold down this street side, have a player contest in towards the cafe, but they're losing his initial gunfights. It all falls into the hands of Vivid and Awakening. Vivid drops. Now what can Big Wake get done?
Rocker are completely outside of the hard point. Awakening just finessing as much as he can, and Big Wake is starting to elevate to Giga Wake. Now around the same total we had before. Let's take a look in to see how the Rocker comms are sounding as they try to hold.
Secret. I did it. Cars. His low, naded. He's low under the stairs. One DVD.
Oh, DVD got me.
All good. Don't let me 190. Don't let me 190.
Okay. I spawned back right.
Nate time. I'm named it back to I have to throw back.
Okay. Will throw me.
Oh, he's on the broken car. On the broken car, Caesar. Nice. They're all 3 by new area then.
No.
Shit.
He's aiming.
Mid-tank, Hunter, he's gonna go DVD.
I'll kill mid-tank. Mid-tank, weak. He's going diner, front diner. Listen, don't let him get to 190 or we gotta play for the spawn.
Yeah, he's so far diner.
Nice. I'm gonna go make cut.
One's gonna be low.
Low weak, Caesar.
Sim's on house.
He's on their side time. On the ledge, on the window ledge, on the ladder ledge. Nice. Get that time.
Yeah, they're gonna I'm going left, bro.
Yeah, I'm going left.
One shot.
Yeah, I can get ladder.
Nice.
Tower one bullet.
He's still mid-tank.
Take that.
Heard it in the listening. Rocker very committed to trying to play to finesse that old time, but they also are very aware we cannot allow New York to get to a certain tally. Otherwise, we very well could lose the game here at Palace. Is the cushion enough? That's the question.
I think it's good enough to at least have a tie game at the end of this hill. Subliners are not able to hold down a full 60 over towards the treehouse side, and now Minnesota are putting themselves in a position to already find the break in towards Palace. They can win it here. So if you are the subliners, the last 2 players here, you have to find a couple kills. Hydra and Skies, they combined for 2. So now there's only 1 player left for Minnesota, it's going to be Linz. He takes down one, but New York reinforced back into the HP.
No one else to rock. You're going to be able to contest this. So like you had already kind of assumed, we're going to have a real tight game rotating into our third set of hills. It's just down to can New York start to find success in the first two, because to this point, they really have been empty on time on these first two hills.
Yeah, this first hill has been causing mayhem for the subliners. Minnesota just trading more efficient. Now subliners going to find themselves down by about 20 points. You have to be forced to find a break in towards P1. Multiple trophies going to go down. That nade is not going to get any information. So what can Kismet do? Sliding right on in to try to get this first kill.
First trophy denied, but there's still so many left, and it's Wake who meets him at the back door. He's going to get 3 of the 4. Oh, maybe even popping out for all of it, but here come Rocker. 232, 198. New York flipped from playing over towards the left side of the map. They need to find the kills, and they need to find them quick.
They got to get in, man. They got to get in. They at least have one person in the point, and it's going to be Kismet. He's staying alive as long as he can. He find those initial 2 kills, make it 3. He cannot get the 4th, though, onto Linz, and Minnesota only 10 points away from being those map 1 Reapers again.
Zip trying to get in through the side door. Hill's looking decent. Vivid pops right back inside. Trying to pre-forward the back door. 243 is where it stops. New York able to clean up the last couple of kills. Rocker now need to make a decision. Do you want to play fully for rotation, or do you try to want to get the last 7 seconds? They're committing 3 players. They're trying to get it done right here, but the contest time, it may have been good enough. Just a couple of seconds between what's left of the hard point versus going towards New, and New York are here first.
And New York are here first, and they also have one player in Skies who spawns on a free pinch, so he's going to be able to find a couple of kills on the back end. Subliners are finding all the kills at the right time. Minnesota not spawning on the preferred side. When you talk about this P2, they need to get a break. The attacks need to be good. They need to be hitting, and you have to get past Hydra because he's holding it down with that AR.
Explosions all over the construction side, but it's the subliners finding the kills. Hydra playing backside tank. Still one member on the hard point, soaking up time for New York, who can 100% still try to win this here. But Minnesota start to find the kills. Hydra, last one left alive, has to stop Rocker from finding any entry, but he gets completely cut down, and it's Rocker. The map 1 dominance once again coming through to take the first.
I don't know what they do.
Let me tell you right now, Alan, when you're in a series, right, and you play that map 1 and something unfortunate happens to where a reset comes in, the team that was dominating in that map 1 before the reset even starts, they usually have a really bad time at winning the reset. But Minnesota Rocket, they did exactly what they needed to do. Every single hard point. Dominate that P1 to P2. Keep P3 scrappy. Find breaks on P4 and even the P5, which is usually a money hill. They were the team that initially started off with it and then kept it scrappy the second time around for the subliners. They started to slowly fight back, but Minnesota just had a better game plan in game 1. They usually do. That now puts their record to 7-1 in opening hard points. And now they're up 1-0 in the series.
Silly things, man. Linz gets 30 for 5,200 damage. Wake, who played a map and a half worth of great hardpoint, continued to also find his way on the successful side of the kill feed. And it's just, again, all the things that we were framing up. New York, you have to beat them on rotation.
Yeah.
You cannot allow them to get set up and continue to reap when it comes to their efficiency on holds. Rocker worked great at that early, really changed the tone of this game right from the get-go.
And I even think when it came down to that final HP, subliners were in a position to win it. You're spawning all of Minnesota towards the backside of Palace. I would have just liked them to have a more tight setup and not Kismet commit on that flank. Once he commits on that flank and he doesn't find a kill, you're already in a man disadvantage on the opposite side. And then they were able to solo out Hydra, find those final 2 seconds, win the HP. Now they're up 1-0 in the series. And if you are Minnesota Rocker, that GP on GD, word to Lamar accuracy, it's working so far.
Man, it's just so refreshing to see Minnesota find success by way of the AR.
Yeah.
Because literally the entirety of this little 3-series stretch they've been out, you could point either to Linz or either to Vivid.
Yeah.
You just had not seen really much out of Awakening or accuracy. Sure, they've improved, but they haven't taken over. Now we're starting to see what these ARs could do when they're in the right environment. Awakening really put everyone on notice in this first map.
Yeah, and especially on a map like Invasion. We're talking about all these lines of sights that are so long distance. You're going to set up these ARs to cut down those proper angles. And even with Awakening, was finding himself in power position. We even saw it at the beginning of the P1.
Yeah.
He gets a 3-piece with an AR watching Freezer side. That's because he knows I have the backup from my teammates. Accuracy is watching the right side street just in case anyone goes for the flank. They just had the perfect game plan in game 1.
Perfect stuff. Good I would say just overall prep, and we talked about it before this series. Hey, they played this map when they played each other last time, so I'm sure there was plenty of footage to start to go through. New York, late heroics, just not quite able to make up that 192 to 128 gap is where it really started to stretch. And we talked about the continual lack of success that New York had through the first 3 hills in particular. So that was definitely a major win condition for Minnesota.
And now if you are subliners, you got to rely on the game mode that's been winning you a lot of series
Big
now.
time,
Search and Destroy, 9-1 overall throughout the season so far. The only loss that they have is the beatdown versus the Toronto Ultra. But just the way that they've been having a lot of success is usually comes through Hydra. He was their Mr. First Blood King. This year, it's been the Bulldog, Kismet. What is it, like opening duel percentage at 70% or 67% like that? That guy is getting it done. And when you're playing against this Minnesota roster, in Search and Destroy specifically, their defense is not the greatest. They allow the most bomb plants to go down. Their retakes are abysmal, which is dead last in the league. And going up against the subliners who are the #1 attacking team, this is a tall task.
Big time. And I think the thing is, on top of the Bulldog being great in opening First Bloods, he's also the bomb carrier. He's also planting the bomb more than anyone else in the league. So when you find First Blood and immediately turn that into post-plant success, you definitely assume to start to see things like a 9-1 Search and Destroy record. On the other side, though, and how Rocker could continue to kind of foil what has been a storyline set up in favor of the subliners is when they do find First Bloods, Rocker are great at converting rounds. It just comes down to they're not very successful at actually winning those First Bloods.
Yeah, at least the good thing for them as well is that they are playing Karachi. So that's a map that they recently just won. But as we take a look at these stats, S&D attack metrics for both of these squads, obviously it's a lot better for the subliners. Second overall ranking, 76% of the time they close out the W with that post plant. And then rounds with plants, 53%. They're doing the objective work on the correct side. And then the opposite side for Minnesota, all those stats are a little bit lower than the subliners. But the way that they've been turning up in Search and Destroy as of recent, what is it? They've won last 3 out of their 4?
I think so.
Yeah, because they 3-0, 3-0, lost the map 2, won the game 5. So their game plan, like Accuracy said, after the Christmas break, it's been working.
It's coming to life, man. It took a while, but I mean, even the desk, I think, when we were watching the online phase, we're still sleeping on this Minnesota team, but playing a map and a half worth of invasion, looking good throughout all of it, it's definitely opening up some eyes. So we'll see what Vivid could do. You kind of saw the real glimpse right there versus LAG. He looked unbelievable. Can they find ways to replicate? It'll be New York on the offense first.
And New York are going to play this one a little bit slower because you have no trophy systems to work with, and it leads to Awakening, finding that First Blood over the top of the building onto Hydra. So now the subline is in a 3v4 situation. Have to slow on down. Try to read the way Minnesota are setting up on their defenses. Try to work some kind of information in their favor.
A little bit of intel from Sky's Accuracy playing bottom sandbags. That will be transmitted. But in a 3v4, losing out on a lot of the middle of the map, what does New York even have to work with? And the answer is not very much. Vivid able to find a follow-up. Kismet hunting for Awakening, and there will be no second engagement there as Minnesota will just hold the 4v2 numbers.
Yeah, 2v4. Kismet position now known. As Linz eventually takes down Sips, so now it's all up to Kismet, the Bulldog. He's got the bomb in his back pocket, but it's going to be a 1v4 for him to try to clutch up and take this first round. Couple shots coming in, but eventually walks right into the preem of the rest of the Minnesota players. They started off with the First Blood. You just said it. Get the First Blood, you get the W.
And that's just good. Again, pre-planning for Minnesota. Lots of nade spam through the middle of the map, which New York has often loved to take right off the get-go. So, yeah, perfect for Minnesota. Everything going to plan to this point. Can they find success in their offense? We just saw the stats for it. It has not been particularly great in really them trying to play around the objective. They're always looking for kills, but not often getting the bomb planted.
And the good thing for us is that we actually casted their last match of the opening qualifiers. And the way that they love their attacking rounds usually was on the back of Linz. He's aggressive up through the middle of the map. He tries to play for anyone being aggressive over towards that B bomb, and he also turns into that island player if anything hits the fan. But for Minnesota, all out pressure towards A, and New York aren't ready for this.
Really quick tempo hit. Kismet trying to rotate over to get into Diner, but Vivid with under the cover of smoke is just going to plant this, and Kismet will at least find one kill. Can't quite get away. So the post plant setup now in play. 3v3 we go.
You have Accuracy who's watching that long flank. He's able to take down Hydra, so instantly a 3v2. Position now known. The last 2 subliners players, they jump up into red. Accuracy finds a second. Again, it's Sky's now left in a 1v3 with 25 seconds left.
If you would have told me at the beginning of this match, Jay, that Rocker was going to come out and outpace New York subliners, I would have called you crazy. But Minnesota are flying right now. Love the gut check call on the first opening offense to say, we're going quick, and we're just going to try to stick to get that bomb planted as soon as possible.
And that's where the homework comes into play right there, because we saw all of last week The bomb site for Minnesota Rocker was that B site. Every single time in their attack, that's where they were going. Subliners were probably prepared for that, but when you catch them off guard, going over towards that A, instantly putting the bomb down, winning the trade battle, accuracy watching your flank, Minnesota on point right now in their search and destroy.
Next hit for New York. Well, let's continue to be focused over the middle. The map sure seems to be, but look at this defensive setup for Rocker. So much aggression playing through barrels. Vivid sees the trophy system, knows that there are members nearby, and it's Awakening to help him out. Bomb carrier will drop in an early 4v3 again for Rocker.
And now Vivid's just going to reposition himself, find another kill through the top AC, and they shut down Hydra. Hydra so far is not having a good time in this search and destroy. And now Minnesota find themselves up in the 3v2 advantage. Bomb going to be down towards the middle of the map. Left up to the Bulldog and Skies. It's not that much time to work with. You have to at least find one kill because you don't want to play this bomb towards B.
Yep.
So many different angles you have to check.
I mean, you know that accuracy is going to be sitting somewhere over towards the B side of the map, just comes down to where. And because of that little scuffle over through the middle of the map, Linz has floated around, and now again is kind of a question mark here from New York. There's just no information anywhere for the subliners.
And if you are Minnesota, you're gaining every ounce of information that you need to, and accuracy finding that kill. Now you know where the pressure's coming in, and it sets up Linz to find the final. On the back of another first blood out of Awakening, Minnesota have been able to chain 3 rounds in a row. If I'm subliners, let's not move up the spawn for a little bit. Let's just take 5 seconds extra, because these nades are really changing the game right now.
Especially from the offensive side. Unreal. I don't think anyone would have had this on their bingo card. Not through a map and a half so far. 3-0 start. You got to keep in mind that this was another one of those maps that these two teams played against each other. The tally last time was Subliners 6-3 over Rocker, but at the moment, it is all Minnesota all the time. Accuracy still holding on to a 4-0 start. And as the bomb gets collected, nades go mid, and it looks like Rocker can try to take all their focus over towards B, but Kismet has one that lands right in Linz's lap. So for the first time in a while, Subliners will have early numbers.
Subliners start off with that initial kill. Big kill to take down Linz as well, and finally Hydra is able to spawn on in. Takes down accuracy. Vivid there for the trade, but Subliners in the advantage. Only a minute left up on the clock. Vivid going to be that bomb carrier, but Subliners know where that pressure is going to be. They're trapping him in towards the chicken coop.
There's a lot of space potentially to get on over towards B. The only one in the way would be Skies at the moment, but Hydra playing over towards top mid. Kismet around the back. Okay, there you go. Full surround like you already said. Completely enveloped the play. Nowhere for Rocker to go, and New York get on the board.
It's good stuff to get that first blood onto Linz, who's the aggressor up through the middle of the map. Once you shut him down, you know the rest of Minnesota, they're going to slow on down because they don't have any information of any players crossing over towards the B site. And at that point, you just allow Hydra to maneuver his way around the middle of the map, find the second kill, and then sets up the Bulldog for the final. Subliners on the back of the first blood, win the round.
Can they start to find any success on offense? Have to have it, and you would think sooner rather than later. So can they find something here? Like you already kind of suggested, let's just stay back a little bit, not get naded. That might be step number 1. This time, though, 3 members over towards tires, and yep, everyone just kind of draws a line in the sand, and almost the delayed nades come through. Hydra still just trying to dance for his life a little bit as finally all the utility expires.
And not a single player from the Subliners are in a position to watch anyone cross over towards bridge, so accuracy is going to find himself in this position again. He could be the deciding factor to make something happen, and he does it just in time. Finds the first, lines it up with the Kobe, already a 4v2.
And just no one able to get into the face of accuracy. Saw the stuns for New York going over the top. Those didn't hit, and accuracy is just planted up. Says, come and get me if you can. Holy cow, Minnesota, 4-1 start, and really even the round they lost, I mean, I wouldn't even say they've really been in an uncomfortable spot yet.
They really haven't, because that defense right there is perfect. You get all the teammates to come over the top side of chicken coop. Everyone's one shot. No one's going to challenge the right side and watch across the lower bomb. So accuracy gets all that info, and he puts himself in a great position to find the initial 2 kills. And pretty sure, what, is he working towards a cruise missile? Potentially? No, he's on a 2, so he actually did fall. But Minnesota, they're just flawless right now in the S&D. New York have not had an answer.
We're going to get another round 1 hit right here. Quick attack over towards A possibly. Linz bit back. Called up that one earlier, Jay. Kismet did his homework as well. Nade will land, and Kismet will tally what I believe is his 3rd first blood, actually. He has been all over the place with these nades, and Rocker kind of have to take a bit of a pause as they try to figure things out.
Got to take your time now. The most aggressive player does get shut down, so down to 3v4. The initial push was going to go over towards that A site, but now Vivid has to work his way around the map. Accuracy Still trying to spot anyone over towards the speed bomb, but do they know the positioning right now of Sib as he's getting aggressive up through chicken coop?
Well, they can actually just go right by him. Sib is going to get aggressive over towards market side, but they find Kismet. So now all of a sudden you've got some rogue players on both sides, as Sib will eventually make his presence known. Accuracy to drop. Tough gunfight versus Awakening. Tags on both sides. And it looks like that aggressive game of tag will come to a bit of a reset.
But it's still Vivid in a position. I thought he was going to go for the flank onto Skies, but Skies turns at the right time. Now it's all up to Awakening in the 1v3. Gets some info on at least one player, but with only 25 seconds left, the bomb's all the way across the map. You stand no chance in hell at that one. Subliners, again, off the back of the first blood by the Kobe from Kismet, win another round.
Yeah, and I think a good decision from Sib as well, just to get a read saying, uh-oh, we have a lot of pressure through mid. Maybe I can sneak behind this Minnesota offense, and it does eventually work out to isolate. Okay. So New York putting them together here and there, but again, offensively, they haven't had anything to work with yet. And now, instead of just saying it'd be nice to have it, you have to have it. You don't want to go down 5-2.
They're the best attacking team in Search and Destroy that we had. Yep. They get the most bomb plants down. They're great on the post-plant situation. They just haven't had a situation where they can get it down because Minnesota are picking them apart early into these rounds. But down 4-2. Let's switch up the game plan. No one through the little map. Let's go all out towards red, and Linz is going to be here.
Huge pause across the entirety of the map for New York. No one going to be tagged up by any nades. Thing is, on the same shoe, New York will have no idea how far Minnesota may be playing. Linz in particular, over towards bus side, holds off on the trigger discipline, catches one front side desk. Now it's on the hunt for Hydra. Just comes down to, do you get a read on this positioning? Because help is on the way, and New York will stay alive in the 3v3.
They're just trying to fight. They know that Linz is very, very close to the engagements, and Accuracy finds one, but Linz is there for the trade. Hydra now left in the 1v2 situation. Gets the first. It's a 1v1 now.
Okay. Should have an idea that Linz is still playing over towards Diner side. Hydra going to take his time to get a little bit of elevation in the mix. Bomb down, though, at the feet of Linz. So it's all about the decision making. Hydra still is dead silent, still has all of his utilities, so he can try to finesse, but there's only 25 seconds left.
Yeah, and Linz doesn't have to do anything. He knows the bomb is down over towards A. He has the cross set up as well. The time is just starting to tick. If you're Hydra, you have to either find this kill or work this bomb plant, and Linz is going to be ready for it.
Here we go. Linz playing right on top. Hydra gets a look at him. Oh, and it was a good look. But Linz posted up, and you can see the smile. It's like, all right, I got you guys, I got you. Now the looming of a 5-2 tally in favor of Rocker, possibly going 2-0 up in this series.
That's insane, man.
Yeah.
That is insane. I wasn't expecting Minnesota to come out and be so polished the way they are in this series so far. Great in the opening map one. Even after the reset, they still get it done. And now you're beating one of the best Search and Destroy teams in the game. Up 5-2, could potentially close it out 6-2. The rookie's playing great. Accuracy's playing great. Multiple first bloods on their side, just one round away. Do they decide to go back over towards that A push? No, we're going back to the old reliable. Let's get this trophy down towards B. Let's get this bomb down.
Defense for New York. Still lurking over towards the A side of the map. Linz trying to make whatever noise he possibly can, while the rest of Rocker just waiting to see if there's any intel that Linz can find here through mid, and he'll find Sib. 4 kills straight for Linz, and now all of a sudden New York need to decide, is that actually where the hit is? Because in this 4v3, they are stuck at mid-map.
Just gotta post up, but at least with that smoke, you get some information that the bomb is definitely still going down over towards B. Actually gonna be a play to watch over Vivid as he goes for that bomb plant, but it's already down. Accuracy finds one. It's a 4v2.
And Linz can just cut off this pinch. No worries. New York would have to put together a bit of a miracle here in this 2v4 retake. Kismet will drop, and now the hunt is on. And Minnesota Rocker, welcome. Holy smokes. Let everyone know about it, why don't you, with some conviction. 6-2 mercy.
This is a massacre, Alan.
Brother.
We're talking about the subliners who were great in every mode, right? At least 50 when it came to the respawn. Search and Destroy, they were basically unbeatable. But right now, Minnesota had the perfect game plan. Multiple first bloods, catch them off guard with that A push early on in their attacking rounds. And then just take mid-map control with Linz being the island player, finessing with that SMG. New York did not have an answer from start to finish at that S&D. They didn't even win an attacking round. They were the best at that, and they couldn't get one done. Now they found themselves down 0-2 in this series. I was not expecting this.
4 first bloods as well for the subliners. 3 of them, I believe, by Kobe's nades,
Yep.
dude. I mean, those are free first bloods. And still New York weren't able to convert on rounds that they should have had in the palm of their hands. So now you also take a look on the flip side for Rocker. You're up 2-0, but in map number 1, you got a mammoth performance from Awakening, and the second map was 9-3 from accuracy. So the ARs, who have been kind of a funny little footnote for Rocker, have been spotlighted so far. And the better news here, Jay, looking forward to Karachi Control. It's been a great map for Rocker.
Oh yeah, it's been a great rack for Rocker, and the crazy thing is, it's not on their attacking rounds, it's actually on their defense. I feel like when we talk about Karachi Control, you usually find a lot more success on your attacking side, but Minnesota, complete flip-flop, and now that's their best control, so you gotta be feeling really confident to walk away with this 3-0.
We maybe thought there were gonna be 3-0s throughout a lot of the day, but I don't think many saw Minnesota possibly setting themselves up for a huge surprise here in just our second match on land in the Modern Warfare 3 year, but it's all Minnesota through the first 2, heading into a map mode combination that has been great for them. Will they stun the subliners? We'll find out when we come back.
What's up with you, buddy, old pal? Hello, hello. What? Where are they?
Start the season strong with the Call of Duty League Pack. Grab yourself the CDL Operator, Weapon Blueprint, and so much more. Check out the Call of Duty store in-game now.
The Painted Alebrije bundle is available now in the Call of Duty store. Inspired by the folk art of Oaxaca, this stunning bundle offers colorful, vibrant, and mythical items you gotta check out. The bundle offers colorful, vibrant, and mythical items you gotta check out.
Welcome back to Boston, friends, and, well, our second match of the day has been a huge surprise at this point, a 2-0 tally, which may, by verbally saying, that is not surprising, but it's Minnesota that have been in firm control of this series to this point. It got tight near the hard point, but the search and destroy all rocker, and they're going into Karachi control, which they're going to love.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on with New York. They must have not got the bacon, egg, and cheese this morning, a good little coffee in the blue cup from the corner bodega. Like, something's not clicking right now with the subliners, and Minnesota are making them pay every step of the way. Now they're going into a Karachi control. We have one of the best defensive teams versus one of the best attacking teams. And it's not like Minnesota are one of the worst attacking teams. They can sneak a couple out if they need to. But if you are the subliners, it has to come through just absolute dominance on your attacking side. Shut them down on what they are good at so you have confidence just in case it does go to that map number 4.
In the same breath, though, one of the guys that's been able to help Minnesota get things done in a lot of these big series over the last handful has been Linz. If we talked about the SMGs coming into this event, they were by far the stars for the rocker. But so far through 2 maps, you could definitely write the story off of what Awakening and Accuracy have done. So with rocker starting off on their preferred side, it's defense first for Karachi. Can they start this map up 1-0?
They're on the better side, so if you are New York subliners, you got to get this one done. Not going to try anything fishy, go over towards B right off the rip. We're just going to commit towards this 8-point. Try to extend this time. But Minnesota, one thing that they did last week that was very scary is that they only applied pressure towards this 8-point one time. They gave this up for free. You allowed the other team to have so much time to work over towards the B point. So already they're changing that game plan up. We're going to apply pressure over towards every chance we get.
Yeah, Linz clearing off the high ground may have been the green light for Rocker to try to contest this, but with the follow-up kills from the subliners, it's all about just trapping subliners from getting this rotation for free. But they have no idea that Hydra's already here, tries to finesse underneath Vivid, but not quite able to do so. Kismet around the back, now the next hope for the subliners, and he's going to go unchecked as the full 60 is going to be confirmed over on the 8-point.
Oh, but Minnesota, they're still contesting A. New York probably thinking, all right, that one's done. Let's just solely put our focus over towards B, and that's definitely what Kismet was thinking, but now his teammates are dropping through the middle of the map, and Minnesota have maintained mid-map control. Big gunfight win coming in from Sid, can potentially hop on a point, but Awakening is there for the trade. And now if you are New York, all right, you find the right kills, now we get on this 8-point.
And the big thing is Hydra's going to be cutting things off over on this defensive squad rotation. Kismet getting out of the zone just to make sure nobody gets through the dumpster, and it's a double for the Bulldog. Follow-up from Rocker. Now, as Kismet is still not being deterred. 5-0 start for him. Skies keeps him safe, and now with the extra 60 fully confirmed, New York all over this first hit.
Vivid at least made it out, though. Vivid makes it out, and he's able to find 2. The only 2 players from the subliners over towards Cafe. He takes care of both of them, so Minnesota are able to force their way back on in, but Civ now in a great position to cut them off from top AC. That's still 2 dead. The only thing you have to focus on is that dumpster hop-up, but there's still a lot of players from Minnesota on that side of the map.
And these next 2 waves for the subliners have to be pushed off very, very swiftly if you're Rocker. Not a lot of lives to play with 19 playing 11. Hydra in the zone, still working on this first tick of progress. Knows he's got players around the back. The timing is perfect for Hydra, but the trades do come up in favor of the Rocker. Problem is they're still down half the lives.
Yeah, and if you are the subliners, you're getting those close spawns over towards backside red, so you're able to instantly influence that aggression over towards the ticket side again. If you are Minnesota, it has to be a clean forward that just swung them all the way across, because if you're playing the trade battle, subliners are going to walk away with this attack.
Yeah, just too expensive here for Rocker's defense, it feels like. Accuracy does take care of Kismet, so still that first tick of progress being depleted. New York threatening, but Accuracy starting to step up a touch. Trade from Skies is good, and the rest of Rocker once again held back on the backside of Dumpster.
There's just no more respawns left, and I don't know if Linz is not moving for an apparent reason, but something is happening. I think if you were Minnesota in this situation, you're definitely going to go out there and die. You don't want those segments to go the opposite way. But another reset. It's unfortunately looking like it's about to come in. What's going on with Minnesota's side?
I don't know.
What's going on?
You're right, though. It did look like Linz for a moment was just having a little bit of issue. He put his controller down, it looked like, at one point in time, although he's not the one communicating with the refs. So not hard to look at. I mean, in terms of what we're looking forward to, maybe his awakening, he did disconnect here as we're looking at the scoreboard on our side. But I think overall, you look at kind of the idea from Rocker, like you mentioned, not just giving away A for free. They're trying to throw extra lives. The problem there for Minnesota was it was so expensive. Too many lives at it.
Too many lives at it, and they still did not know the positioning of Kismet. Like, he was staying alive at Cafe, waiting for his teammates to capture that A point. Once that happened, Minnesota are all jumping over the dumpster. They're thinking, oh, Cafe is going to be free. We can make it out this side of the map. There's no way in hell someone's on this side. But Kismet was ready with that AR in hand, and he was the cutoff man to potentially almost take that first round in control for the subliners. But obviously, we don't know what happened. We'll give you guys an update as soon as we can.
And I think the thing just kind of to look after the 5-minute break is that felt a little bit more like what we're used to seeing from New York. Yeah, sure, they haven't been a great control team per se, but when they're finding all of these little rogue routes, taking over the map, just kind of swarming in locations that are hard to find confirmed kills at, that's where New York becomes an issue for a lot of teams in the league.
Especially in control, man, because the way that they've been getting it done in attacking rounds is not really through the segments. It's been through the slaying. And they were on full display right there in that round number 1. So if they can keep that up, that's how you definitely start the momentum. Just completely outslay, potentially earn yourself some cruise missiles, and shut down Minnesota, who are one of the best teams on their defensive side. And you force Minnesota to now win an attack, which is 50-50 chance.
Sure. But a very convincing start is great news for New York fans.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, the Boston bagels not quite the same as they are.
No, it's not, man. I'm telling you, bro. That bacon and cheese is different. A little bit of ketchup, probably a slightly little thing of mayo as well. I know some people hate mayo.
Mayo on it.
I'm telling you, in a bacon and cheese, ketchup and mayo are hitting different.
All right. I'm just going to take your word on it. I will not attempt to try. Take your word. And I think the thing, too, is we look at this control is you've got some freedom in this series now for Minnesota. I mean, we came into this looking at the map set like, yeah, sure, Minnesota map 1, that's been really successful. Maybe they steal the first. I don't think either of us expected a 6-2 beatdown in the second. But you're looking forward to also a Skid Row map number 4, which, based on, again, the historic success of the SMGs for the side of Minnesota, you look at it and say, okay, there is a little bit of a lifeline later in this series for the Rockets.
There's definitely a little lifeline, but like, what are they? 0-5 in game 4s? 0-3 in game 5s? Like, if you are the subliners, it all starts with this control. You walk away with this, you're going into a Skid Row where you can definitely walk away with the W and force that game 5. And if it does get to the game 5, the good thing for Minnesota is subliners have never played it. And that can also be scary because you have no VODs to review of how they like to play setups. And on the opposite side for subliners, you know Minnesota played that map a couple times. And the biggest thing that they struggle with is simply their attacking rounds. So like 1-8 on Invasion S&D, you don't find success on that map if you're not winning attacks.
And that's the biggest thing, not just for this particular matchup, but I really have to stress to all you guys watching both here and at home is when you listen to the desk breaking down things like map fluidity, who's got the most ability to go to different locations and still find success. Our top 4 teams have been able to prove that everywhere they go, whether it's hardpoint, search, or control, is going to be a desperate attempt likely for the teams that are on the bottom 4 side of what we've had so far in the online qualifiers. It's just really surprising to take a look at this particular matchup, seeing as they squared up once before, and it was pretty controlled by New York, but this Minnesota hot streak has no signs of cooling down at the moment, which is great news for Rocker.
That's great news for Rocker. We're talking about potentially 4 series in a row. 3 series in a row to guarantee yourself a winner's bracket at this event, but to take down a Titan in the subliners who we have as one of the potential winners of this entire event. Oh, man, the whole story changes for Minnesota Rocker. They get this W here.
I think you feel like you could beat anybody, too.
Hell yeah.
Without question.
Guaranteed.
Okay, so the update that we're getting is that will be a full reset here for the control, which, once again, great news for Minnesota considering how things happen. But I think just overall, the mentality here for New York has to be, look, we've reset, we're back. Let's not let this dead time kill all of this momentum that we just found in that fake first round.
I just think if you're New York, you got to come out like the world champions that you are.
Bang.
You got to just set the tone early on. We're talking about Hydra stepping up, Kismet setting the tone with that SMG alongside him. But I want to see more of an impact out of Skies and Sid. We know Sid so far throughout the season. He's been an absolute shooter for this subliners roster. So has Skies. But so far in this series, they haven't really came to life yet. So on a map like Arachi, those guys, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do.
Okay. So we had a little bit of a teaser as far as what we could possibly expect for this Karachi control, but we are loading back in to give it another go. New York will be starting off on the offense, which just to re-hit, that has been their most successful side, not just in Karachi, but everywhere. Whereas for Minnesota, their defense has been particularly great on this map mode combination specifically. So we'll see if the breakoffs look any different. For New York, not really. Everything going back over towards A once again.
Yeah, I think if you're Minnesota, though, you're going to change your breakoff off a little bit and not allow them to get full chicken coop control. So you have multiple players on that side of the map, and they still are applying pressure in towards the middle. But Hydra cuts down to First segment about to be complete, and oh no, man, Hydra, you can never count this guy out. He's the best player that we had last year. He's trying to turn it around here. Already a 3-0 start.
Slapped him right in the mouth. Now has the MCW to also work with from this top AC position. Vivid wanted to give it a go. Got a lot of Hydra, but not enough of it. Second tick of progress looking good for the confirm unless Linz decides he wants to jump out of hotel and make a play for it. But he's been scouted, and looks like for the most part, Rocker are going to just completely chalk this and just set up their defense for B.
And this is where it scares me. This is where it scares me because you don't apply any pressure over towards A. They know that you guys are playing a strong setup around this B point. And now if you don't find these kills, this game can get out of hand instantly. You do have Awakening in a position, blocking those close spawns so they can't smoke close red, and instantly apply the pressure over towards Cafe, but it's still the blue ball to the back end. He does get cut down by accuracy, so now it's 2 minutes that Minnesota have to hold on to this B point.
Big elimination, though, for accuracy to make sure that New York don't just completely flood this zone. On the same front, Awakening also playing topside single window over towards red. So there are members for Rocker that can set up this defense, even though not everyone is here as of yet. New York, no chance to jump on the zone, and the follow-up kill from Linz and Awakening together. Now all of a sudden Rocker can dominate the map as they've won every single individual gunfight.
Subliners just try to ISO Awakening over towards Junkyard. He reads the first player on his flank and then turns on the second player to hold down this position. Such a crucial play coming out of the AR player. On the side of Minnesota, already 30 seconds knocked off of the game clock. You're forcing all of the subliners to overextend. We got to push through middle. We got to push through Fountain and potentially try to go for deep flanks as well. And Minnesota, with their setup right now, they're fully invested on where they're coming from.
Great help coming around the back as Vivid up top towards balcony. Almost got to, but New York find themselves favorably in the kill feed. Linz follows up, now confirming that the spawns will stay safe in New York, who tried to make this whole overextension happen, have to all of a sudden hit this third junk just because the clock is starting to tick away.
Yeah, it just didn't work. It didn't work. It took too much time, and if you don't find those kills, it's going to come back to bite you. So they try to come off spawn and hit something different, but now you have to go into the Junkyard ARs who are holding down this position. Accuracy on 3, Awakening on 4. Finally, they take down accuracy, but there's still only 45 seconds left on the clock. They're not getting those close spawns because still Awakening in that position.
Linz trying to take care of Kismet, surprises him just over towards bus stop. And now can go once again back forward, try to zone them out a little bit further as New York are trying to look for kills. They can't find anybody. Rocker's just ratting up in and around hotel, and New York have no opportunity to break through this defensive setup nor even see the zone.
And now there's only 20 seconds left. This is going to be their final hoorah to try to get in towards the cafe. Trades going down and towards the middle of the map, but it's still Minnesota playing those corners, making it so much more difficult for New York to just sprint on forward and get onto the point. Only 7 seconds left. They find 2. Linz trying to find the second. He cannot. But it should be just enough for Minnesota to take round 1.
Unreal start for Awakening again. 6-1 in round number 1. And it just feels so right all of a sudden to see Rocker actually fulfilling full setups. Good duality between the back line and the front line, and everyone's getting involved. This Minnesota team looks revitalized in every form of the word.
And Namus has got to be geeking right now.
Saying.
You know Big Wake is his favorite player. Big Wake had a conversation. He said, I'm going off this weekend, and he is not letting Wheeler down. Minnesota take round 1, but also crucial plays from Awakening over towards the junk side to keep those spawns closer for his team. Now they go to the attacking side where it usually doesn't treat them well, but they can sneak out a couple if they need to.
Yeah, it's not just a battle of can New York's attack continue to find success, or will Minnesota Rockers defense be the one to kind of set the pace, but also on the opposite side, neither team particularly great statistically on both of these sides. We find ourselves in round number 2. First couple of the kills traded out. New York's defense looking solid, and they already got Kismet forward.
Hey, they find all the kills at the right time. Now you just have to take care of accuracy. Now you get the info. That's a clean 4 dead. Minnesota now have to work out of their spawn, and Kismet already in a position towards Junkyard, forcing them to always hit towards 3-story or the chicken coop side. Do they decide to wrap back and take care of him? Man, I don't know if they're going to have an opportunity to do so. Finally, accuracy finds that kill, but nothing to show for it. Not a single segment complete yet for Rock.
And Sibs on the chase. Accuracy not entertained by the idea of that 1v1, so you'll just run through. The map could open up something else somewhere else, and 3 great kills come through for Rocker. Klopp will stop at 39 seconds as Minnesota jump on over to the A zone. First tick being worked on. New York setting up the rebreak.
There they go, and it's going to start off with Kismet. Finds that first kill. Big one onto Vivid. He was watching down all of this left B Street side. That first segment comes in. Skies finds another. Kismet finds a second. Your sole focus is accuracy and Lins. You take care of the final two. All of Minnesota coming off spawn again. Only one segment to their name. The subliners are making it happen on this defense.
Clearance from Vivid through mid-map, but this is going to feel very desperate for Minnesota. Accuracy, last one left alive over towards the top at Rubble. Kismet doing what he can to make life difficult on rotation from the respawners, and he's now on 5 in a row looking for the cruise. Could potentially read this threat into Vivid. Oh, perfect pre-fire. Cruise missile now earned, and with 23 seconds on the clock in a 10v21, New York dominate the defense as Minnesota take one last crack over towards B.
Yeah, Minnesota did get a close one over towards red, but the whole gunfight's go in favor of the subliners. Only 14 seconds left. Nice one all the way behind P3, and they only complete 2 segments with Hydra potentially under cruise missile. No, he gets shut down. Kismet now has one. But this is the perfect response if you are the subliners to match the defensive side. You also have the segment count up by 1 going into this next attacking round, and now Kismet earns himself a cruise missile.
Huge response for New York. The extra cruise is, I'm going to imagine, be very pivotal in what feels like this could be a control to see all 5 rounds based on what we saw in our first 2. Hard to say for sure, but the big news is all of a sudden New York really finding themselves alive, and I think more importantly, there was never a moment in that last round where they weren't dominating in every part of the map.
Yeah, they just couldn't get out. If you're Minnesota, you go floor dead. That's the worst thing you can do in control because everyone comes off spawn in the same position. If you're not checking your left to right, checking those street corners. You're going to walk right into the creams of the subliners. Lins having a slow start to this game. Sure, last time he played against the subliners, even though they got 3-0 to the control, he had a 2.1 KD. So 6 and 14, it's not cutting it. You got to step up, bro.
It's been weird to see Rocker find all of their opening success by their ARs.
Yeah.
It just has not been the story at any point this year. Battle over A. Half the first tick already been completed. Lin's working on trying to get it fully depleted potentially. He is right around the outside of the zone. Skies gives up his top position to try to get in, and that will be where he's punished. Lin's down, all of a sudden looking for the beatdown, but it's Sib who beats him to the punch literally, and with that first tick of progress, we'll get locked.
The first tick is going to be completed. See the subliners there thinking a step ahead. You already have Kismet in a position, playing for a couple spawn traps, but they're going to eventually work their way around back cafe. No, they're going to wrap back and make sure this 8-point is going to be theirs. Don't know where the rest of Minnesota are. Guarantee that Awakening's probably over towards the junk side, but where are these SMGs?
And Rocker just sitting, hey, you guys don't want to jump on the zone with numbers? Okay, fine. We'll wait for the gunfights to happen first before we contest this, if at all. Second tick of progress being worked on by Sib, and that will be locked. And with the elimination on the Awakening, looks like once again Rocker will chalk this up and just play defense at B.
Yeah, honestly, if they're going to make that decision, you just got to do the same exact setup that you had last time around. Have someone pushed out towards junk, and unfortunately, they both just fall. So now if you are the subliners, all the kills going in your favor. Minnesota Rocker are now forced to consistently jump over the backside of this dumpster. That's another 3 dead. Subliners might be able to wrap this one up here.
Here we go. Sib on the zone already, working on the first tick. Helped by the form of Skies, who now they double up, try to get a lot of success done. The kills continue to happen here for the subliners. Everyone's starting to put together streaks. Every single life, it feels like Hydra on 5, making sure Rocker can't get on spawn. It's a beat down in the back line. Second tick locked, third on the way, and Rocker are sitting here in spawn saying, you guys gonna have this round by the look of it. Hopefully there's no other issues as everyone from Rocker stopped, and the moans and groans echo across the MGM music hall.
I don't know what's happening, bro.
I don't know.
I don't know what's going on. Subliners are getting it done on that attack. It didn't come down to the slaying. They slayed when they needed to. They were actually going to walk away with that attacking round through the objective side. Once again, a resets happens, and yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Me neither. we just work here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, I just work here. Wow. We had another Awakening game crash, so it feels like it's on his setup.
Yeah, it's
is what we're kind of getting, which is odd to say because he's been dominating.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the guy's working through what seems to be a couple issues and still putting together some numbers.
Yeah, the guy's got the good stuff over there. I don't know why he keeps on lagging out, but that's just truly unfortunate right there for Minnesota. Now I'm really curious to see what the round count is.
Yeah, same.
Going back to the game because, in my opinion, subliners are going to walk away with that round.
I think so too.
I think that one was a lockup. You have everything cut off. The stack was already in towards the cafe. So they, in my mind, don't know what the official rule is. Should be up 2-1 going into round number 4 in control. But obviously, when we find out something, we will let you guys know.
Yeah, we don't know. We just work here.
Yep.
That's the way that goes. Wow. I'm having a hard time, and I'm really going to be curious to see what the deaths breaks down. Even if, let's just put out there, let the universe chew on this one. If New York were to put together a reverse sweep and still pull out the experience that you would expect, which would be a win here, you have to be really impressed by what Rocker has shown us through now 2.5, 3 maps at this point.
Without question, because even in my mind, like we casted a couple of their matches going into this event. You beat down a team like Carolina, who's basically dead last in the league. You beat LAG, who are basically at the bottom as well. But then your good win was sort of against Seattle, who are around the middle of the pack. You wouldn't get that done all the way into Game 5. So that's exactly where I had Minnesota, around the middle of the pack. But when you're taking down a Titan like this, in the subliners, up 2-0 in this series, can potentially walk away with 3. They've completely changed the script of how I think about them now.
And maybe we need to do a little bit of diligence here to talk about the other side of the card, which has been New York since their slaughter at the hands of Toronto. Struggled versus Boston, had to go 5, squeak 1 out. And this almost feels kind of familiar to what we had gotten out of New York in the last 2 series of the online phase, where all the things that were so blindly successful for them are not evident anymore.
Yeah, even the search and destroy, man. Like that was the thing that got them through everything so far. Even the Game 5 versus Boston, they were able to clutch up there. But now you're losing search and destroys. Your hard point right now, at least the teamwork aspect, if I remember correctly, it's just not fully in sync right now. So if you're not winning your hard points, you lose the S&D, which is your bread and butter. Now you're going into control, which is your worst game mode. Like, Subline's got to turn up.
Well, they're going to have a little bit more time to try to figure things out as we're going to head over to a break while the issues on stage hopefully get resolved without too much pause. We'll be back on the backside. Don't go far. We got Major 1 coming back after this.
Was watching my day's worth of Jenny. You know, she sends a million Snapchats. Now I'll always watch them, so I back up. Was watching one in the drive-thru line. Waiting to pick up my medicine. And there was one that made me have to stop and go, say, she was talking about, I guess, that Joey was trying to make himself out to be how he was his perfect husband. He loved her so much, that together. And Jenny said, she said, when did
The
you
Call
tell
of
me
Duty
you loved
League
me?
is brought to you by Monster Energy, the official energy drink of the CDL.
She's like, how about when
The
we
Painted
got married
Alebrije
for
bundle
our
is
first
available
year?
now in the Call of
Paid
Duty
off.
store. Inspired by the folk art of Oaxaca, this stunning bundle offers colorful, vibrant, and mythical items you gotta check out.
I was like, oh shit, okay.
Welcome back, everybody. We are very close to being ready for our 3rd time's a charm start. I mean, I'm just going to speak that one out into the universe. Shift and Study with you. And a 2-0 tally for joining us here late in favor of the Minnesota Rocker. We've kind of played up both sides. Minnesota continue to impress, whereas we kind of just introduced the topic. New York, who have been a little bit struggling lately, finding ways to try to regain in this map number 3 to extend the series.
You have to try to extend it, man, because you don't want to be one of those top 4 teams going into this event and walking away to Minnesota, who barely snuck their way into the winners bracket in a 3-0 fashion. Because going forward, the subliners do lose this one. Now you're knocked down to the losers bracket, backs against the wall. You have to play perfect COD, and I don't think they're in the perfect mindset, at least right now.
And it's really tough, I think, to even make any sort of prediction overall what's going to happen in that lower bracket, because there's so many mystery points, talking about teams like Carolina Domina, now a new roster, things like that are going to exist as you try to put together a long stretch through that lower bracket. But just as kind of a recovery and re-hit over what's happened in the first two maps, the 250-238 Invasion Hardpoint, we talked about Rocker and their map 1 record. It continues to impress. That time it was behind the hands of Awakening. But a 9-3 search KD for accuracy in map number 2 really had us kind of peeling our eyes back as a 6-2 tally hit the Karachi search. And so far through the couple of attempts we've had on Karachi Control, we've had kind of a little bit of everything depending on which restart you want to talk about.
And now, at least off the reset, I know one person was looking forward to this reset. It has to be Linz. He didn't really have the best start on that second time that we played. He was sitting at like 7-20. Yep. Walked away with the defense, but as an SMG on a map like Karachi, you have to be that guy that's turning up in those one-on-one gunfights. Because Hydra was slowly starting to work his way up, starting to heat up on the map. You had Kismet switching between the SMG and the AR. So it looks like New York are starting to wake on up, but you need the rookie who's been getting them all the way to this position just simply off his SMG play to make sure he plays the way he does.
So the update here as we go into our next reset is that we will be holding the 1-1 round count from our recent playthrough. So the only real big difference is we're going into a round 3. Trophies won't be there again. So you look towards that as being maybe an X factor for the team on attack?
Yeah, especially, no, I'm actually thinking for the defense.
The defense?
Because it's going to be Minnesota. Like, Minnesota are going to be the defense again. No trophies to work with. So the nades and the stuns will be useful to shut down that A pressure. Not give it up as easy as they did the second time around.
All right, there's the layout. Let's see if third time really is a charm here. Again, the tally will be 1-1 jumping into this reset here at Karachi Control. Looking to see if Rocker can surprise early here at the Boston Major with a 3-0 of your defending champs. First time we've seen them back on land since their win in Vegas. And that would be, I think, again, no one had that on their bingo card. Not just the fact that they would have lost, but in 3-0 form. So can Rocker find a way to continue to just rip teams apart on their defensive side of Karachi Control? 1-1 tally is what we're at as we jump in.
But he didn't start. Others didn't start.
Back to the defensive center for Rocker. And if you are the subliners, let's just get A out of the way. You get it clean for dead. You're going to force Minnesota to play a perfect setup around B. With 2 minutes and 20 seconds, all you need is one push to get it done. But early on into this round, Kismet tries to do the same thing he did last time around. Sneak his way over towards the bridge. He gets cut down, and already Minnesota contesting mid-map.
Didn't need the nades this time, just got it done with the rifle. Sky's up top also has been seen by Awakening, so he's got no attempt to make a full play. And Linz is,
hell is he here?
I'm saying, it's popped up out of nowhere. He's just getting the intel from his teammates and then absolutely destroying the subliners from behind. He's also been manipulating spawns, and now you look over to Awakening. He should be aware that, oh, I'm in trouble. I gotta back up and make sure that this next hit for the subliners is tested.
Yeah, he makes the perfect read. Wow. Right now, the subliners don't know what's going on. That's already 3 dead in the feed. Last player out of base is going to be Hydra. He finds one, but now they're going to get those close chicken coop spawns. They have to get out. They have to kind of try to complete any segments over towards A. There's only 35 seconds left, and there's nothing to show for it.
You called this one, Jay. Linz off the reset. It's just all over the place, but oh, big gunfight win from Kismet with the SMG down low. Awakening still playing over towards Junk side, is trying to contest these subliners players, but they largely get out of the spawn trap. First tick of progress being worked on. The problem here is the life count and the time for New York.
And Minnesota, they have the opportunity. Actually starting off with the first kill, you still have big weight. Absolutely gunning in towards the junkyard. That's already 3 dead. The first segment isn't even complete. All of the subliners coming off spawn. Here goes Linz, the young rookie. He at least finds one, but there's only 10 seconds left, and New York have yet to leave the base.
Have absolutely no success outside of just stepping on towards the zone. Chance for the second tick to get locked in. Couple of good kills. Starts to reduce the life count, so opportunity starting to brew just a touch. But Linz falling off the top of the balconies towards apartments does take away one. Vivid following up to confirm his trade. Wants to test the zone, but gets pushed aside. And it's only a 5-life lead here. So New York's going to get 66 seconds is what I was going to say. But now all of a sudden accuracy takes him off the zone. And the only hope for New York is to stop the clock at B.
At least the good thing for the subliners is they're getting the close ones over towards red. So you're instantly there to assist Skies in towards this point. But what kind of routes did Minnesota decide to hit? Awakening through the back end finds one. Look at where accuracy is on the minimap. That 8-point actually does get complete as well. So it's 11-7 in lives remaining. First segment already done at B. Minnesota got to get a move on.
Zip wants the gunfight. 10 plays up against 5. Every life an important one here for New York. Second tick, all of a sudden starting to come through, but Awakening just stays tucked behind cover, enough to at least confirm another elimination. 7 plays 4. 52 seconds on the clock. Skies trying to get some damage done himself. Help from Hydra now here. 2v2 over the top of the B zone. Trophy system gets placed. More kills come through for Skies. He's on 4 in a row. Vivid would have to pop over Dumpster. Can they fully bring this back? Pistols out. Skies for 5. Last stick of progress being worked on. We got a 2v2 over the Dumpster. Go Rocker. Can they find a way to break? No, not in time to contest. The New York steal away at offense.
That is an absolute collapse right there for Minnesota. You were up by 6 lives. There was no more respawns on the side of the subliners. All you had to do is trade efficiently. But Caesar Skies Bueno invested in this game in towards the cafe. That Renetti was working wonders around those windows, and it leads to the subliners walking away with the attack. So now they are up 2-1 on the defensive side where they have struggled, but Minnesota are a lot worse on their attack. So New York on full advantage to walk away and force this game forward.
That felt like a champion moment from New York early here on land. Icing up, finding a way to bring back a 7-life deficit with not a lot of time on the clock. Can they reset this series a touch and take us to a Skid Row hard point for map 4? Rocker on the zone for now. Awakening a couple of pot shots over to Skies, who's still looking for that 6th kill for a Cruise.
Scotch is just taking his time. He knows how crucial that cruise missile can be, but Kismet unfortunately gets burned right there from Vivid. So already the first segment in at the same point. Second segment on its way towards their side. With a minute 20, subliners are looking like they're just going to give this one up. Force Minnesota Rocker, who have yet to drop any lives on this round, try to complete this attacking success.
Sky still trying to find this 6th kill for the cruise missile. And he's going to use Kismet as a bit of bait. Gunfight doesn't come through. I was about to say, hold on a second. I think Skies trusted that Kismet was going to clean that one up a little bit easier than he did. And on now the rotation with the A zone captured, Rocker have Vivid flirting around the B zone, looking for a chance to transfer over towards B.
Minnesota already found themselves up by 7 lives. I thought it was going to be a dominant all-attacking round, at least a clutch-up round from the subliners. But Minnesota, they're mimicking the same exact thing. Already one person on the point. Vivid, he does get cut down. At least subliners find all the right kills with a 3 dead in the feed. And if you are Minnesota Rocker, you still have those close ones, you're here to reinforce.
Take your time, play out the lives. New York on the way, trying to recover over through Hotel.
That's a teammate.
I mean, Awakening's played well, but he's snapping on everybody, and finally takes down Nettie. Zib drops 3 down. Now a chance to start to hit the go call. Accuracy, also finding kills through mid-map. You should be able to get at least 1, if not 2 on for a quick stack.
Yeah, just get the stack in. First segment already going to be complete. 1 player does drop in, so there's only 2 players left in the point. You have Awakening watching that pinch. He does get cut down, so now it's all on collapse from the subliners. They find all the right kills at the right time, and Hydra continues it right through the ticket booth. 18 to 15 in lives remaining, but a minute 35. Minnesota only need 1 segment, 1 set of kills to get this done.
The next line of defense for New York, firmly planted inside a Hotel. Hydra looking for more and gets caught getting a little bit too aggressive, so now tables have turned. Rocker flying out of red. Skies, good stun help comes out, makes that gunfight much easier, and he'll double up from top AC. Linz down low, next one in his line. Couldn't quite get the reload off, and Linz has stayed alive here at Bus. Sky's now all of a sudden in a bit of a weirder position as Linz gets a second. Finally, the trade comes through. We got a 10v10.
The good thing is, at least Sid finds 2 as well, so there's still 3 dead. Last player you got to focus on is Vivid. Everyone else is coming on spawn. 10 to 9 in lives remaining. Minnesota still in the advantage, but Vivid with the tack usage solos out Kismet. Now they get on the point. They're about to be able to complete it. That's already 3 dead. You gotta go.
Sib's the one who has the challenge. He finds the first, but then gets traded out by Linz. 3rd tick likely get burned, and we'll have a round 5 affair as Linz holds off the Dumpster push. Yep, we'll reset it and see who finishes on which side as we go to round 5.
And I'm pretty sure we go to another reset, because round 5 is definitely comes down to the segment column.
Sure.
Subliners walked away with 3 in their first attack. Minnesota walked away with 2. So in my mind, it's definitely subliners who are on defense. Minnesota have to win another attacking round.
Yeah. I mean, I'm no mathematics scientist, so we'll see. The players usually know better than we do, and no insinuations towards, okay, there we go. The timeout comes through. So I think the math is firmly correct, and I think League Ops will definitely make the players aware of it. So this is just a reset to make sure the sides are correct. Will you be looking again at things like trophy systems as we have to set everything back up again from a fresh start?
Yeah, I think if you are the subliners, the way that you were getting it done, at least a little bit in that search and destroy on a map like Karachi, those nades played dividends. So the way that Minnesota like to play, it's not an aggressive push right off the rip over towards B. They try to get A done and dusted so they can extend that time and then just find themselves in a position to get 1 set of kills to close out that cafe side. But it should be the subliners on the defense where they actually prefer the attacking side. So complete complete opposites for both teams.
100%, and I love it. Just flat out, it's not our best versus our best. It's, you know, can you get the job done on your vulnerable side of the map? Man, I'll tell you, as you look towards kind of the statistics that we had through those 2 rounds, accuracy at 18 and 12 through 2 rounds, and now all of a sudden, again, we continue going back to what these ARs have done for Rocker. It's just such a breath of fresh air considering what we had in the past, and okay, maybe the math was incorrect, or
okay,
here we go. Looks like Rocker will be starting on the defense, so ignore what we said, and we're going to have New York off the timeout, jumping freshly on in towards A.
All right, they're both on their better side, so if you are Minnesota, this is your opportunity to walk away with a 3-0. We're going to contest this 8-point down to T as much as we possibly can. Trades going back and forth through the middle of the map, but still that first segment is yet to be complete. A 2-piece leads to now Subliners potentially stopping this clock on the point.
Pivot jumps forward, trying to find players on the zone, and instead catches Sip nearly over the top of Rubble. Kills come through from New York. Hydra creating a bit of a buffer zone over towards the apartment side, which Awakening will have to be very weary of as he tries to set himself up topside red.
He's working his way up through red. They don't want to give up this time as much as they can because Subliners are gaining the time over towards the 8-point, and they're finding the kill. So Lynn's the only player over towards the cafe. A pinch does come in, so now the Subliners are in full control of this map. 2 players over towards B, 1 player onto A, but the player on A drops. So now if you are Minnesota, everyone's got to focus towards the B point.
And for the Subliners off spawn, they will get a player quickly over to finish the progress earned over towards A. So an extra 60 added. 2 minutes and 2 seconds on the clock. 5 life advantage for New York, but they don't get the clean transition over towards B. They have to do it the hard way again.
Yeah, I think if you are Minnesota, just go back to what's been working. Push out junk, force them to overextend every single time. Make it a lot more difficult for Subliners to even get close towards the cafe. See players trying to maneuver their way around. They solo out Vin, but they have yet to find the kill. He sent in Hydra, but Awakening was there for the team assistance, and then Hydra does get nothing. And now all of Subliners back in the back of the spawn. 1:30 still on the clock.
Remember that moment right there, friends. That was a huge surviving play from Rocker. What looked to be guaranteed kills from New York. Vivid still existing on the flank, but the rest of the Subliners off spawn have found their way quickly through Hotel and now over in towards B as Kismet starts working on the first progress.
Yeah, Vivid's just going to work his way to try to find a kill, and he might have put himself in a perfect angle to take down a player on the point. Unfortunately, the beat down slide is not going to work on Sid. There's still a lot of time getting wind off of that clock. Eventually, Subliners get into the point, but it's still Minnesota. They are here to contest this. Accuracy is not missing, living up to the name. 20 and 16. Great performance so far out of the GPGD guy. That guy knows what's going on. Only a minute left. Minnesota down by 5 lives.
And that also takes New York out of the top AC position. Rocker now holds some control, trying to get their defense reset up over towards B. That first tick has not been finished yet. But keep your eye on the lives. 13 flying up against 9. Vivid! Huge double. Can't quite turn it into a third, but Awakening right behind him has no problem cleaning things up. New York pushed aside again. We got an 8v10.
And you saw Accuracy go through the route through the middle of the map. He pinches the last couple of players over towards the junkyard, and now all of Subliners are not spawning where they want to. They have forced to overextend. There's only 30 seconds left on the game clock. Minnesota are finding all the right kills, potentially gonna walk away with this 3-0 right now.
7v6, not a lot of time on the clock. Kismet does get one on the backside of B. He will stop this at 14.8, but New York are not here to help him at all. Rocker still holding on to junkyard control. They've been able to find 2 through the middle of the map. Kismet working on the progress, but pushed away. Just down to Civ and Skies. Can they find a way to get things going? Civ for the double. It's a 1v4 though. It's Skies. He's so far away, trying to get his run on, but no, the crown has fallen off the head of the Subliners, and Rocker has made a mess of the upper bracket with the 3-0 sweep.
Man, oh man, Minnesota Rocker came in with the perfect game plan. We're talking about an invasion. You already beat this team on the opening hard point. The Karachi, you've been finding success with this roster recently on that map in mode. You take down one of the titans that we have in Search and Destroy. But after the multiple resets, after everything that happened in this game number 3, Minnesota clutch up to walking away with 2 defensive rounds, 1 attack, and clutch up at the very end to walk away with a 3-0. I'm telling you, we weren't expecting that. No. The desk wasn't expecting that. The world wasn't expecting that. But Minnesota Rocker, they came to play this weekend.
Holy smokes, man. And it's just every form of what we needed to see Rocker do to be a contestant at this event, not just in this series, but for the tournament as a whole. Needed to see better AR play. Needed to see the hard point exist beyond just map number 1. We'll still wait to find out if they can play map 4. But the thing about it is every other element when it comes to how the team was being a little bit mismatched in tempo, completely alleviated. That is a beautiful performance from the ARs of Rocker.
Yeah, like you know what you're gonna get out of your SMGs, but the fact that the AR stepped up tremendously, we're talking about accuracy and routes. Like that guy has an AR in hand. He's spawning all the way on the backside of Castle. He goes right through the middle of the map, hits the route for the repitch, and then completely spawns New York all the way on the opposite side. You only see SMGs make plays like that. But when your ARs are doing that, that means everyone is in sync. Everyone knows exactly what they need to do in the situation that they are in. Even if you have a sub, even if you have AR, things have to get done on the map, and Minnesota played that one to the T.
I mean, at this point, it feels like the sky is 1,000,000% the limit for this Rocker team if they can get everyone prepared at the same level they were here versus New York. We got Blaze standing by on the stage with our post-game interview.
Thank you so much, Shift and Study.
Thank you, guys.
There you go. Boston, give it up for the Minnesota Rocker as they take their first win on, taking down the world champions, Lamar, Iceman. Talk to me about this series, and I want to hop into this map number 1 because you guys had a great start, but the reset came through, and we know how it is with resets in this game. And also with you having such a great stat in map 1s against teams, how was it to be able to come back and beat them again twice there?
I mean, we were just saying, yo, just keep going hard, do the same thing again, but I ain't gonna lie to you guys, I was absolutely lagging out on the replay because I've never won a replay in my whole career. So I'm glad the boys were going hard.
They came through.
Frying and getting me that first replay win. I've never won in 10 years on a replay.
And it came down to about 12 seconds, too, as well, at the end. So you guys locked that one in, but then the control, it looked like New York was starting to fight back a little bit. How did y'all shut them down there and really make this a solid 3-0?
Just kind of figuring out their game plan and making adjustments going forward because they were playing it, a little different than maybe teams that we were playing before. So kind of figuring out what their GP is and, doing the things to counter it.
Okay, nice. And lastly, I want to talk to you about Lens, okay? Because he was frying on the S&D.
Yes, sir.
How is it teaming with him and playing with him on the main stage now?
That guy's an absolute demon. He's going to make his name known this season, so watch out for that boy.
All right, watch out for Lens and the Minnesota Rocker. Give it up for him one more time, Boston. Chris, take us away.
Thank you so much, Blaze, and congratulations. Minnesota pulls off the first upset of the tournament, and it's a big one. Alley Cat, I'll let you start first because in the pre-show you told me Minnesota doesn't 3-0 people.
I caster cursed this really bad, so either you're welcome, Minnesota, or I'm sorry, New York fans. But yeah, I said Minnesota can 3-0 people. That Search and Destroy is easily the most insane map of the series. If you didn't really watch it, go back, watch map number 2. It was beautiful by Minnesota Rockers.
Which one of Lamar's 9 kills did you enjoy most?
All of them.
Yeah, all right. We got to break it down, though, Chance, because before the match, I asked you who has more pressure, who has the stronger AR. We highlighted 2 players, Sib and Awakening. Seemed to be won by the man wearing purple for the first time.
I mean, that's the, Big Wake is sort of like the meme or the joke, but he quite literally did answer that question right from the jump in the first hard point. And then even after the reset, bounced back and did the exact same thing. So, I mean, he showed resolve. The slang was absolutely there, but not even just Awakening on the AR category. Accuracy also fried this series. This was in like a round and a half. The dude already had 17 kills. So the ARs this series, they did just straight up look stronger than those of the New York Subliners.
Nameless, you told us coming in that Minnesota could be a threat to some of the top seeds. They just put everyone on watch notice. So what are you looking forward to from this Rocker team moving forward? It doesn't get easier in the next round of the winners bracket.
Listen, man, I just took a look and their map pool's pretty good. They've been improving a lot in Search and Destroy. I mean, we saw it in that series just now. That's the best search team in the game that they just beat in that game number 2. But I mean, you talk about players who have not been performing well, right? You talk about Big Wake and Accuracy, the 2 ARs in the team. They turned up in this series, and when they play on that level, we're seeing the dynamic and how good this team can be at Respawn and the pace that they can set. Every single time that New York was trying to push out in that control and get control of red, no opportunity because Lens was the final guy in the line, picking up that kill, picking up those 2 pieces every time. The end of the hard point, who shut it down? It was Lens finding the two kills on the tank. So they have an amazing dynamic within this roster.
I need to pause you right there because I'm told the play of the game is Linz at the end of that hard point. Alley Cat, we were losing our minds. It looked like the subliners were going to steal the rematch on hard point. Linz leading the team at the very end. How to get it done?
I was literally going to say that. I was going to be like, Linz is nasty on land. Usually when it comes to rookies, it's like, oh, how are you going to perform on the main stage in your first matchup? Well, you go up against the top 2 seed and you do stuff like this. Linz was popping 2 pieces like it was the easiest thing in the world against New York subliners, and he saves the game here when it comes to this final P2.
I mean, this was a beautiful play, right? Because New York, they had full positioning, and that's what you want. You want everybody to be spawning Palace. Kismet hits the route through mid. What happens? Awakening slams him on the pinch route, and then Linz is trapped by himself in front of ice cream. He has to make a miracle happen. When he wins that first gunfight, you know they're going to.
I mean, he had some crazy plays. Like, he had the one play we saw from Sky's perspective when he's like top red on the Karachi towards the end, where he has Linz one shot in between the whole team. We watched for another 30 seconds, and Linz is picking up kills when he's tagged up one shot. So he was fed into chaotic situations. Absolutely delivered. The French guy popped off.
Real quick before we go to break, Allie.
Yes.
Who gets your MVP?
Linz. We were just talking Linz, 100%.
It's official. The desk is done. Match 2 is in the books, and we come back. We have the 3rd match of the day. Toronto Ultra has been on fire. Do they stay that way in Boston? Find out. Another big one against Seattle coming up next.
Yeah, our bridge is shielded.
What's left?
I'm cutting mid.
I'm not sure if I'm getting old, but I swear to God, Joe, sometimes when Celium talks, all I hear is. Yeah.
My goal here is to win champs. I think it's gonna be very difficult, but if we put the time and we just work hard, it's just everything is possible, I think.
Congratulations, Hydra, Esports Awards 2023 Controller Player of the Year. Congratulations, Alley Cat, Forbes 30 Under 30 Award winner.
Hey, chat, watch this.
All right, we gotta just go play the game. Let's take a look at this bad.
What would you GA in real life?
I think I would GA Bills. Bills for sure. Definitely Bills. If you didn't have to pay those no more, life would be so much better.
Taxes. Getting up early in the morning. I hate the morning. I hate getting up tired. It's the worst thing ever.
Mosquitoes. Do you know what I mean? I don't know why they're here. Waste of time. Bring nothing to anyone. No benefit. Just wipe them out and the world will be a better place.
Bro. Lane. Got him. Dead. Reviving.
Jad old, one shot.
Dead. Reviving. Hold it. All way. Dead.
I'm picking up Esky's pinch.
We're dead. Dead. Oh my god.
This game changed my life. I was an overweight 15-year-old kid who didn't feel like I had much purpose, and then this game, this community legitimately changed my life and gave me confidence and made me feel like someone. I have my family here today, so I can't think of a better way to say goodbye than on this stage in front of my family. They've made so many sacrifices for me. I mean, my dad was driving me to tournaments anywhere and everywhere. My mom, she flew to Chicago with me for my first ever tournament.
He's bald. It's all gone. Oh yeah, it's a lot of hair. Oh, no.
Benzo first, bro. Bottom of the list. We start.
I don't even know why am I on the list, bro.
Is that Steve? Is that Mulch?
It's Moach.
Put him in D.
Oh my god.
That first time I met Steve, he was playing for a team called the E-Girl Slayers.
No.
At UMG Philadelphia.
I think we throw him top S.
He's putting next to crowd behind me, baby. Let's go.
Hey Ben, relax. But to the right of Crowder, I think.
Calm down.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. It's fucking godlike to me. Looks good to me.
This list is unbelievable.
This is a godlike list, I think.
I'm pushing him.
I
got one.
I
got two. Okay, we got
water bridge. Attack. I'm gonna play it towards mid cutter, right?
Deep water bridge.
Playing from mid map, okay? I'm gonna go inside small, inside
I'm mid tank. I'm
kitchen.
just mid tank. I'm just
Play together.
Exactly.
It's going fire tank.
Just kind of
Should run back to mid tank.
Get my mid. Yeah. Yep.
I have mid.
You're good. You're good. Just don't tell him. Don't. No. Don't get wall banked either, Adam. Run the mid tank. Run the mid tank.
I hear you. Oh, fuck him.
I'm good. You just.
In rugs.
Stay down.
Let's
go, guys.
The start of the year to the end, I actually don't know. If I had to guess,
That's 5-4. It's time. Match number 3 loading up right now as we are getting back into action here at the MGM Music Hall live near Fenway in Boston. What's up, everybody? It's Puckett alongside Ally Cat Nameless and a very special guest. Brand new to the CDL again this year. We got Shift. How we feeling, buddy?
Feel good, man. I mean, I'm feeling a little stunned after what just happened on main, but I don't know. This is probably going to be the first of, I imagine, many upsets that we have throughout the weekend.
Absolutely. You and Study were up there forever. The longest 3-0 in the history of the CDL. But let's see how it affects our bracket, because now, Carolina, Clayster, I got bad news for you. You got the number 2 seed waiting for you there at the bottom. Excuse me, number 3 seed waiting for you at the bottom. Subliners versus Royal Ravens is an elimination match that'll be happening tomorrow. Right now, though, we know we have Surge facing off against Toronto. Winner plays Ultra in winners round 2, a bracket I don't think anyone had. Let's start, though, with the team from the Pacific Northwest, rocking all baby blues. We got the Seattle Surge. What have you seen from this team up to this point in the qualifiers?
I think for me, I'm looking firmly at Illy to be the guy probably for this squad. He was really showcasing it through the online phase. He's been really kind of a star-studded player since his return back to the CDL overall, and definitely has to be a catalyst to have that little bit of extra lane experience alongside of Booza to try to get this Surge team really flowing in the respawns in particular. The other side of it is the negative side of the coin. Arcades has not been particularly great. Maybe he can have kind of a big Wake-style series here that would really turn up.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know, with Seattle Surge, I actually like this team. You know, I think it's, taking a little bit of time to figure it out, but they are excellent at search and destroy. We've seen it throughout this stage, and they've shown glimpses of greatness in respawn as well. Obviously, Abuza, rookie to the team. I've been very impressed with what he's brought to this roster. I echo what Alan says about Alec. I do think that he needs to step it up for this team, especially in those hard points.
Allie, is that monster still hitting?
Yeah, the monster's still hitting.
I like that. Will you take us through the monster pregame for
I will
Seattle?
absolutely take you to the monster pregame. So I'm going to talk about the attack and control right now. The biggest thing for Surge is they're pretty good at search and destroy, and they have the capability of stealing a respawn every once in a while in a series. So for them right now, I think for me that map 1's going to be the most important, because Toronto Ultra is 6-1 in game 1s, where on the flip side Surge is 2-5. So if they can somehow steal that map 1, once we get to the map modes and see that it favors them, they have the percentage of them possibly winning the series goes up exponentially.
Longer it goes on, better chance. There's a look at the Surge. Ilian Arcee's getting geared up next to Abuza there as he makes his first presence on the main stage felt today. On the other side, though, Scrap and friends are no strangers to the main stage. In fact, they feel incredibly comfortable there. They were dominant throughout our World Championships up until that Grand Finals. Remember, they beat the Subliners before they eventually lost to the Subliners. They had something to prove online, and they have the numbers to back up the story that they are the team to beat here in Boston.
And the respawn is just flat out near perfect. I mean, they are beating teams up. Their hard point differential, 86 points on average. That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, and it's just a continuation from last year, right? Like, yes, they did add Envoy into the lineup, but this is a team that was always good at respawn. And even this year, now with the addition of Envoy, their slaying has gone up. And this is a team we used to be like, well, Toronto Ultra doesn't have to outslay because, you know, their teamwork is above the rest of the league. Their level's above. Now they have the slaying to match it. So this is what makes Toronto Ultra such a terrifying team.
Take a look at our Monster Energy pregame. Nameless, really, they just got to do what they've been doing, right?
Exactly. I totally agree with that. You know, we usually when teams pick up a new player, we're like hyper focused on their statistics and what they're doing. Well, we're looking at the other three because they have been on another level since Envoys came to the team. And in the Monster Energy pregame, they do it all. 84.1% hold percentages first in the league. 35.5 break third. I mean, they're top three in basically every category in hardpoint. And Purple on control on defense. 11-4 round count, 3.3 ticks allowed per round. You play a team on a high rise, it's going to be tough. Play a team on an invasion, it's going to be tough. I don't even know if they've lost the defense on invasion yet. So for Toronto Ultra, right now, I mean, statistically, they're looking like one of the best, if not the best team in the game, right alongside Atlanta FaZe.
They had that one slip up against Boston in the qualifier. That was really the only blemish that we've seen, but it was a 3-0. So they've shown they're human, they can bleed. How do you see them stumbling at all across these 5 games?
In this particular series, they would have to make some sort of a blunder happen on one of the hard points, and they would have to lose both search and destroys. That's really the only route in my mind that I think Seattle can find a way into this series. I also think just on top of that, this is a really tough Toronto team to veto against because they've blown out teams on just about every single respawn map that we have.
That being said, though, Toronto seemingly has to veto terminal, hardpoint, and search and destroy, which is what we're seeing in this series, which actually leaves a lot of wiggle room for a team like Seattle Surge. Now, they have Skid Row hardpoint map #1. Toronto has never played that.
Yeah.
They usually get rid of that, right? So going into this one, Seattle has 3 reps on it. They've lost all 3, but they've had some close games. Think back to the Optic Texas series where Kenny made that miraculous play. They had a major opportunity. So for Seattle, I think they're happy throughout this. Also undefeated in that game 2 Skid Row S&D. So a good start to the map set for them.
So far, we've all picked the same teams. We've all picked the same as the fans. It's time to find out if we have any separation. I'm going first on this one, and I'm taking the higher seed once again. Toronto Ultra with the #2 seed will beat Seattle Surge with the 6 seed.
I'm going Toronto as well, but I'm going 3-1. I think that Seattle will steal a map somewhere in here.
Unfortunately, stats in my book sometimes just don't lie, so I'm going to go with Toronto Ultra as well. They just have a major advantage in the series.
How many games we got?
I'm going Toronto. I'm going 3-2. I think map 1 goes to Seattle.
We're all wrong. Surge is winning. It's time to get it started with Blaze on the stage.
Thank you so much, Chris. Boston, it's time to get this 3rd series of the day started. And these next 2 teams are ready to fight it out tooth and nail. The first one coming to the stage is looking to bring the storm. Tread lightly, because here comes Seattle.
Everybody's anxious to see what this team looks like on land. A lot of these players are world champions, but they've been thrown away from their former organizations like a bad habit. But we know what they're capable of. They've been excellent in search and destroy. Can they put it together in respawn? Today, we will find out. Let's bring out Toronto.
I'm excited to see what Seattle Surge is ready to bring. But here in Boston, this team coming to the stage is used to the cold. Get ready, because here come the Kings of the North.
I love when the news coming in on a day-to-day. Already know what's happening, I don't gotta shake the hay. Big moves, big stepper in the right direction. The trick continues, every double use a psychedelic. I think they gon' need a minute. Look, I'm interested in making ends opposed to making friends. Double bags, I've been paranoid, having a safe. So take a check, finishing this drink should only take a sec. But Mark just cut me off, he told me that I go on stage in 10. Walk out to my own shit on the main event. Vinci my cologne after the show, she told me it was a favorite sense. Sprint event is spacious, we can take it friends. What happened next, you can take a guess.
Ultra. We got Scrap, Envoy, Insight, and Kleenex. Toronto Ultra ready to get it done.
Toronto Ultra, a team not only used to the cold, used to the pressure, and used to being on main stage. Only one blunder on the record so far at the beginning of this year, but some of the best players in the game. They've been embarrassed once, and they just saw one of our top seeds get upsetted in the previous series, and they don't want it to be a two-time. Blaze, let's get this started.
Let's get it started, Allie. They do not want that to happen to them on this main stage. And I'm ready to go, Boston. For your casters on this series is Merc and Maven.
Thank you so much, Blaze. Here we go. Hi, everybody. Let's have some fun. Been a minute.
Yeah? Not really.
I feel like it's been a while since we've been at LAN, feeling all sexy with the people.
Oh, all the time. Yeah, no, it has been a while though. No, a long off season. We're obviously very happy to be back in Boston. But as Ali was saying, we just saw a major upset, and I think maybe for Toronto, it's sort of like, well, all right, this couldn't happen to us, so let's lock in, boys.
Well, a couple times during the league, I feel like if one team there was a major upset, there was another one that day. We had a lot of that happening. So. Yeah, I don't know, it was a mental thing sometimes, but don't follow suit, come and handle business, because I think for most of us, they've looked like maybe the number 2 team. It's hard to argue anyone's looked better than FaZe, but when you're looking at their hard point, they've been truly unbelievable. I think some of the question marks around Search, we expect this team to be really good, but it's still early.
Yeah, I mean, 4-3 in Search and Destroy, obviously room for improvement, and you have a new player come in, there's going to be a little bit different play styles, right? The way Envoy likes to play versus Hixie, getting on the same page, finding that map pool, but this is a team, their respawn has just been lights out.
No, they've been so strong. Now, you kind of heard them talk about the desk. I don't want to dive into it too much. Hopefully we're into action pretty quickly, but they sort of said through Search and Destroys where you think the upset comes if you're Seattle, it's got to be, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of it. I mean, I would be very surprised if it goes through the respawns. I guess this has, there is potential of this team, but let's be honest. Seattle Surge, they have struggled against the top teams in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, you come out hot to start the year, but since then, it has just been a little bit ugly. Their schedule got a lot tougher, but maybe they steal one here, right? Ultra has not played a Skid Row hardpoint on the year.
Yeah, it's where Rocker started slow and then improved. They've been kind of the opposite. Are these guys going to come back alive? Open a kill there for RC as we get rolling into Skid Row, and this is one where A is line up for Insight. He's able to get nearly a third, but he was so tagged up he drops if the trade comes through. But talk to me a little bit about this opening map, because what we haven't seen Ultra here, you've seen Surge 3 times, but the point differential is pretty rough.
Yeah, 0-3, minus 70, 80 points in that point differential there. They're kind of getting smoked, but again, they have reps in matches. Again, for Ultra, you've played it a ton in scrims, and just because we haven't seen it yet in match doesn't mean they're bad at it. Just they're playing to their strengths. Is right now early 30 points, but you do see on rotation Illy already inside P2. This is great starting on that side if you're able to get early control to that second hill, and they have it for now. So Illy just gonna be chilling, but you take that time if you are Ultra.
Yeah, get a clean 33. All right, now you see if you can get a break on one of the more difficult ones to do it. You've got control of ticking. You're starting to group up here. By construction, see if maybe you can make a play for the point. It'll be Illy soaking up inside, Hook getting down damage, pistol kill there for Envoy, and you look to collapse, but it's just scary. It's who wants to go first? Because the second you start to get out in the open, the beams are there for Seattle.
I mean, they try to get garage control early on. They're able to find the first kill on RCs, but after that, this first push pretty much negated. Maybe you go one more time behind the nades. Maybe no more trophies in hill, but still 3 players up, and it's going to be a Booza and nade. So now it's down to a 1v1 on the hill, and Illy, he has been so solid for them all year long. He is going to win that final gunfight. Now it's all on the focus now in rotation to P3.
Yeah, and this is one where, you saw FaZe do it earlier today. You have this P2 to P3. When you can get a successful transition there, a lot of times it flips this map on its head, because, you're guaranteed a good 50 to 60 at 2. How fast can you come in? Maybe can you develop a pinch? Some pressure on Ultra now to get a hold here.
Yeah, already some map position given up, and I mean, that's gonna be a great stun from Abuza to find the first one on to Scrap. A nice read. This is where the push is going to start from. It's going to give them that closer spawn. You see where Scrap spawns on up, and now it's just, we know the entire team is here. Do we have trophies? We absolutely do. The Ultra duo takes down all 4.
Yeah, no, that's about as clean as it's going to get. They're trying to push these spawns out even further, get the trophy out of action. 4 in a row now for Insight as he is up to 7-2, and Ultra will now go back out in front. You're going to take another crack at this, or try to build if you can Seattle Surge, but so far so good. The fire is there. You're on 5 HP before you drop, and whoa.
no stranger to this today, so hopefully we'll get this going.
Yeah, obviously we've had a fair amount of this, so we'll see what's going on. Hopefully it's something they can resolve and not something we'll be dealing with over the course of the weekend. But any big takeaways there from the opening to that one?
Well, I mean, Insight starts off well, but yeah, I mean, you get the P1 hold if you're Ultra, you give up the P2. I mean, a great early holdover at the third hill for Ultra, but wipe it clean.
Yep. I'm imagining we'll be starting fresh, considering that was the call earlier today when it was, what, a 120 point differential. Here you're basically tied up. So fans here, fans at home, thank you for bearing with us. If we have any more update about what's going on with these crashes, we will let you know. But for now, I'm just waiting on them to get hot back into it and take a breath. And that goes to both sides of it, because, you know, you saw some frustrations thing on the stage in the last series with some of the resets. You saw it, I think, from New York a little bit. You saw it from Minnesota. I mean, but props to, like, Minnesota, like, for Rocker. After that map one reset, to come in and win that again, basically go up 2-0 in the series, like, the win in that fashion, that was pretty impressive stuff.
No, 100%. Yeah, I mean, you kind of heard Asher talk about it. He felt like he's never won a reset in his career. So to finally do that, it's not easy to do. And normally it does go the opposite way. But unfortunately, this just tends to happen at times.
Well, obviously, you were Ant that said in the arena, we were sort of like, you never win the reset, you never win the reset. Like,
yeah, that's how we talked.
Yeah.
Like that.
No, that sounded just like you.
Yeah. What am I, Scrooge? Like,
I don't know, man. You have a very sexy and sultry voice, Joe. I'm sorry.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome, buddy. But no, it can be so tough. You know how many times we've had it over the history of Call of Duty? I mean, we've had different rules around it at times. I feel like it's been a pretty long time now where it's just been sort of a flat-out reset and hardpoint. You used to make those rules back in the day, huh?
Not anymore. No, yeah, I don't have to do that anymore. I just cast weed and deal with you. Take care of you. Now you're an athlete.
I want to get pizza here tonight.
What do you pizza?
We haven't had any, yeah.
Yeah, well,
if anyone in the venue wants to walk up and tell us pizza joints to go to later, I would take that.
Yeah. There you go. He's looking for pizza.
Yeah, I don't know why.
He's already thinking about food.
While we're sitting here filling time. Yeah, well, it's been a while since I've eaten. I'm an athlete now. I worked out 2 days in a row.
We're so proud of you.
I did cardio 2 days in a row, bro.
No, we are proud of you, you know? You're getting younger and younger.
Yeah. How about that? Look at those pretzels over there. See those things?
They look good. You're really eyeing food. You're focused.
They look real good. I'm locked, y'all.
You're locked, I know.
Yeah. I'm locked to the stage now. See if they can get this game started. What do we think?
Oh, well, I don't see it. The game's right there. You can...
What's behind me, Joe?
Yeah. Oh, you just turn around the other way.
Okay. What are we still waiting on a player? We got everybody back. Looks like we got everybody. I think we're waiting on one player. We're going to hop into the bracket real quick while we wait to get back into this. Thanks again for hanging out with us while we look to get locked and loaded.
Yeah, look at the bracket already. I'm sure maybe if you did your pick'ems, maybe didn't expect the last game. Rocker with a big 3 over NYSL. Atlanta FaZe with a 3-0 over LAG, and now into this one. So it sounds like we're almost ready. Hopefully everything works out fantastically. But there's an updated one. Yeah, NYSL already in losers round 1. Did a takedown Carolina, and that's a matchup.
It's scarier than it once was, right?
Yep, gonna be scarier than what it once was for sure. I mean, Carolina's gonna have more and more practice time. But Rocker, man, just, they are locked in. I mean, we casted some of their early games of the year, and it was looking dreadful. But what a turnaround.
Dreadful's one way to put it, yeah. But then, you know, you bring in Fellow, the young TJ Haley, and they start
looking good. I'm talking about Rocker. Yeah, no.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about Carolina, too, like how much they've turned it around, because they've been so impressive. But same for Rocker. I think we're getting ready to load back into this one. I think that is the case. We got a full reset here for the map 1. Thank you again for the patience at home. Getting ready to load back into it. Skid Row to start us off for this best of 5. Seattle Surge, Toronto Ultra looking to do battle. Here we go, back into it.
Last time it was Ultra off the start, but they did allow that P2 sort of tunnel push workout for Surge. Insight in the same exact spot, maybe a little deja vu. Can he line up both players? Does find one. And gets the second, so pretty much the same way that Break went last time through.
Yeah, a little bit deja vu, that is for sure. Phoenix, already watched the underground route, able to get the kills there through tunnel. To Scraps POV we go. He's got basically the entire roster in front of him. It's another multi-kill there for Insight. Almost number 5, but he's gonna get cut down at a 4-1 start. And you maybe do a little bit better if you're Surge this time, because what was like 33-0 or something you got starting up for Ultra, but the difference look at P2. You'll be set up there with Ultra.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as Illy gets taken down on his first push through tunnel, they're just like, we got to go for the scrap time, the rest of P1 time. So that's the play where the first time we watch it, Illy was able to win that gunfight, and they get set up at P2. That's going to be all 4 dead for Ultra, or sorry, 4 Surge. Now the Ultra set up. Going to force them through tunnel is, yeah, P2. I don't think this is going to get touched very much.
No, it's not. Now we'll see if, sort of what I was talking last time. Like at this time, maybe Ultra can do a great job transitioning to P3 and get the break. They had such a good time holding it last time through. You've yet to die if you're Envoy or Kleenex, and you're still hunting Envoy, trying to work his way up top, not able to do it. RC's going to hear him, able to get the kill. Right back over to Inside, who is shooting Deem. 7-2 start last time through, 8-3 in this. My guy is locked.
Yeah, Inside 8-3. I mean, Illy 0-6 right now. Not a great start. Does get on the board. A 50-point lead for Toronto Ultra over on rotation. You do have who is that? RC's already set up, just trying to fight for map control up top, but a nice trade from Scrap. Instantly traded out yet again from another rival, but here we go. Can't settle Surge respond.
Yeah, this is the big one. This is where Ultra was able to respond last time through and able to hold so well to get right back into it. Can you do the same thing? Not looking that way. You already get ripped out of the point. Breaking through will be Scrap into this P3. 3 players going to be spawning close there for the push. He's got a little bit of help, though, in the way of Envoy as they continue to hold around the point. Now this is a chance for things to get out of hand early.
Yeah, I mean, 5-0. Clays is not dying. Looking for number 7. Gets it, but does get taken down by his teammates, so it doesn't reflect in the stat line. 7-0 has the cruise missile now to work with. And what was this is an ugly start here with that P3 break. Beautiful for Toronto Ultra.
Yeah, you're going to get in with about 20 seconds or so remaining, but the damage already done. Ultra, they are rolling so far. As Envoy tried to deal with the outskirts, going to Pete the guy top. Dunster, one push, ball, getting dropped as well. A boost there with the mult kill. Kleenex, yeah, he's that streak just because he's still 7 in a row.
Yeah, again, over at 4, you already have an Ultra account set up, hanging out for right now. So already so much map control to fight over if you are Surge. Hook through back apartments, trying to get pushed up, but still in the back is Scrap, hanging out, but someone checks behind the door now. The contest is in. Illy is there. All of Ultra going to spawn up, maybe try to flood